Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talk indeed. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
I'm trying to figure out how I broke my chair.
I don't know.
We're all in the exact same position, I'm sure.
No, I'm serious. Things collapsed on me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
I just figured it out.
Hey, Sean. So first of all, I'm glad you're okay. Second of all, how effective are the Vikings on play action, and what makes that so?
Well, look, these pieces fit together. I think, number one, they do a great job in their running game. They get to the edge. Obviously, they're extremely talented at running back. The type of season Cook has had has been real impressive. So when they move you defensively and then they come off of that with heavy play action, that's a challenge. So those wide zone teams that do a good job setting up patterns down the field, that can not only give the quarterback an extra half a second to throw it, but they can give the route an extra 5 to 10 yards to get into your defense, which can be challenging.
What do you remember about Cook in the 2017 draft with Kamara that year? And I guess how is his availability? I mean, you just mentioned him a little bit, but how does that change the offense for them?
Well, I think it's substantial. I mean, I think anytime you have the production a guy like that's had, and we've seen it with runners throughout this season, and I think it's very important. He's got extremely good balance. He's a strong runner, and he's got outstanding speed. So, you watch countless 15 to 25 yard gains by him, and that's hard to do.
Sean, you mentioned when we first talked to you about getting to the playoffs and what the teams had to do to get there, you brought up all the adversity you guys overcame. How crucial was Teddy in that? I mean, you guys getting a 13-3.
Look, I think it was very important. I think it was very important because it was so early in the season, and you don't know it, but it was going to become one of the key defining moments as to who we had to become as a team. And here it is, week 3. You're on the road in Seattle, and then the following week Dallas, and then in each week he got better and better. But it was very important.
Your family. Okay, seemed like our sound issues disappeared. So here we go, family. Good to hear all the family members in the building. I know y'all can hear me now. That was Sean Payton chiming in with a multitude of different interviews, sessions, things, information he was dropping. So if the family members can hear me, chime in, hit that who that, say thumbs up. I can hear you. I can hear you. I hear everybody saying I can hear you. So originally you guys couldn't hear me. They had some sound issues, but we're going to work it out. Forever Absolute, who that to you, all my family members, Jasper Bowden, Sub-Zero, Sean D, Revolt Control, Steve Wynn, 985J, Scoob, Tramal, Drew Goddamn Brees, Soldier for God 77, Josh London, Chris Moorhead. Let's see who we got in the chat as well. Paul, good to see you, Paul. Smitty. Oh man, that's a long ass last name, Smitty. I'm just gonna say Smitty. Number 1, DAT. Let's see, Raymond Burtz, big ups to you and all the family members. Verlin, I see you, Verlin. And all the family members, man. A lot of y'all in the chat. Shedrick Mosley. Let's see who else we got here. Travis 504, Desmond Roman, Dequan. Let's see who else we got here. Everybody in the chat. A lot of family members in the chat. Please hit the like button, family, as we keep moving it. Boss Hall, good to see you, family. Jarrell Bledsoe, also as well. Who that to you, fam? And all the family members in the building. Okula, good to hear you. See you on there, Okula. And the rest of the family members chiming in the building, man. Larry Williams, who that to you, Larry? Javier, good to see you, Javier. And let's see who else. We got DLP 2600 in the building. Good to see you, fam. Sean D, once again. Joey, all the people, man. Everybody. Gundam 1313 in the building as well. So good to see the family. DJ, good to see you there, DJ, as well. What is that? Emilian. Okay, I hear you, family. Good to see you. Thank you. Electric Cub Shocker, Giant Gill, everybody in the chat. Derek, good to see you too, family. Good to see all the family members in the chat. Give everybody a big ups. Fly Trade Social Media. Roscoe, good to see your family. Giant Fletcher, good to see you as well in the building. Big ups to all the beautiful Black and Gold family members. Now, let's do this thing again. Now, originally, I don't know if you guys were hearing me when I was talking. Probably not. So I like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q. And if you don't know, this Sports Coma Live, TSC Live number 75. We're just going to do a little recap of some things. Saints getting the playoff mindset. I played a little Sean Payton early just to let the family members know what was going on. Sean was chiming in on his weekly conference call, and that's pretty much what you was hearing from Coach Payton. But I have several interviews, and I'm going to play him. We're going to play some Drew Brees, get their mindsets heading into the Minnesota game, the playoff matchup against Minnesota. Also news pertaining to other Saints greats, Drew Brees getting that honor, the player of the month honor. We're going to go over his numbers. We also have another honor that was given to one of the late great members of the Dome Patrol as well. We're going to talk about that as well, plus questions, concerns, comments from the chat, family. And right now, like I said, I'm mobile right now, so I'm moving around. So we're going to try to test the phone line and see if everything works correctly in this live stream. We ain't going to do a terribly long live stream tonight. Usually we kind of save those for the weekend. But anyway, I want to be able to kind of get the family members' thoughts on what's going on as well moving forward with the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of stuff. Purple Knight, I see your family. Who that to you as well. So we'll get involved. So the next bit of news I want to go at you with is the Saints injury report. We'll talk about the Saints injury report heading into the Minnesota Vikings game. Now, currently, as you know, today's Thursday, so this is what the injury report looks like. Eli Apple's dealing with an ankle issue. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. He's listed. He's probably not going to practice. He's probably going to be out, and I know a lot of people happy about that. Zach Line has a knee issue. He's still out. Von Bell had a knee problem as well. He was limited but listed as fully practiced for Thursday, so Von Bell could be a go for this game. Marcus Williams could be a go for this game as well with his groin situation. Mike Thomas had a hand issue. He was limited, but he fully practiced Thursday, so don't worry about that. And then, of course, Dwayne Washington, new to the injury list, the third string running back, had a knee issue. He was limited Wednesday. He fully practiced Thursday. Minnesota have a bevy of different players that's on the injury list. Eddie Kendricks is one of their linebackers with quadriceps. He was limited in practice. McKenzie Alexander, one of the cornerbacks, he did not play. Neither did their safety, Andrew Sendejo. And then you had other players, cornerbacks like Mike Hughes, who was limited as well. So they have all the cornerbacks are kind of hurt, man, except for Xavier Rhodes, who Mike Thomas made him look like just terrible when he played him. But they have a bunch of injuries, but Devin Cook was fully practiced from that shoulder, so he looks good to go. But a lot of issues in the secondary with this team, and that's the wrong area to have problems with the Saints. But that's some of the injury report. Now to go over one more time for the family members that's just chiming in who hadn't heard. Eli Apple, he did not practice, neither did Zach Line, but fully practiced Von Bell, Marcus Williams, Mike Thomas, and Dwayne Washington. So that's a bit of the injury report as well. Now, let's kind of peruse into the next bit of news right here. And big shout out to New Orleans Saints legend Sam Mills, the late great linebacker, the leader of the Dome Patrol. They also call him the Field Mouse. He literally went on to play for the Panthers after his time in New Orleans, which he should have never left. But that was how cheap Jim Finks was back in the day. You can ask Paul how about that if you want to know. I'm not going to break it down, but the historian will let you know just how cheap Jim Finks was. He should have kept all those linebackers here. Sam Mills eventually left to Carolina. You had Ricky Jackson, should have never left anywhere, but he ended up leaving to go to San Francisco and actually won a Super Bowl ring up there. And of course, Pat Swillen left to Detroit and then to the Raiders. And Vaughn Johnson, I think Vaughn did leave. I'm not certain on Vaughn, who just passed away recently. Rest in peace to Vaughn. But former New Orleans Saints linebacker Sam Mills was named one of 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2020. On today, he spent 9 seasons with the Saints from 86 to 94, was a member of the Dome Patrol, where actually he was the field mouse. He was the leader of the Dome Patrol. He was the brains behind the Dome Patrol, Sam Mills. He died in 2005 due to intestinal cancer. And the finalists will be presented to a full 48-member Pro Football Hall of Fame selection committee during its annual meeting on Selection Saturday. That's February the 1st, 2020. And he was elected to the Saints Hall of Fame back in 98. He'd been in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in 2001. So the field mouse, he in every Hall of Fame that matters to the Saints. The big one, just keep our prayers for Sam Mills, because he deserves to be in there. He really does. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. The old field mouse, he called him. So big ups to that as well. Now, before we go into the rest of the news items, I just hit you with the injury report. That's Sam Mills news. We're going to come back with some Drew Brees news. But here's Drew himself talking about the Minnesota game coming up ahead. Is Drew.
Is that water under the bridge, or do some people maybe use that as like fuel for the fire going into his postseason?
The only thing I'd say about it is that we have a lot of guys on this team that were here for those experiences, right? And so I think it says a lot about our group to be able to take some of those circumstances and some of those unfortunate things and be able to turn that into something positive and use that as fuel, use that as a way to just bring us closer together and really fight through that adversity to bring out the best in all of us. So from 17 to 18, being able to do that, and then now from 18 to 19, and we're in a position now to, continue to take steps forward to achieve the ultimate goal. So I think it says a lot about this group. As far as this game being a revenge game or anything like that, I don't look at it like that at all. These are two totally different seasons, right? That was 2 years ago. Now, I will say this, there are a lot of the same players on that team, on defense at least as I look at them. And so what that tells me is those guys have done an excellent job of, maintaining what I think is an extremely solid group on defense. Those guys play very hard. They play very well together. They're very well coached. So we got our work cut out for us this week.
Drew, the way you guys have played this month, and particularly you with the no interceptions, the lack of turnovers overall. I mean, just what a solid way you guys are going into the postseason in that regard.
Yeah, I think mid-season we looked at ourselves offensively, and we were doing some good things, but didn't feel like we were putting forth our best performances, and so the goal really in looking at a lot of the little things, really just the execution of our offense and kind of the way that we, the standard that we've set for ourselves, felt like, there was a lot of things that we could be doing better, and we wanted to, continue to progress forward throughout the latter half of the season to the point where we were playing our best football going into the postseason. And I think we've made great strides from week to week. I do think we've gotten better each week. And I think the statistics would reflect that. I think the points per game would reflect that. I think just the overall execution would reflect that. The stats don't always reflect it, but I'd say for us offensively, we have been able to be balanced. We've taken good care of the football. We've paid close attention to situational football and how to play that and execute in those situations. And so I'm pleased with where we're at, but I also think we can get better.
Drew, how much does a player like Jam?
That's Drew Brees, man, chiming on a bevy of different subjects as well, man. And as you can hear, Drew Brees saying that they could play better. Now, if anybody could play, just make that declaration. Drew Brees is, I don't know how better he could play in terms of him. As a team, maybe, yeah, I could see that. But in terms of Drew Brees playing the way he played the last month leading into the playoffs, he was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month for December. And let me give you the statistics why. We all know about the 49ers' 6 touchdown performance, 5 throwing, 1 running. And then, of course, he turns around and hits you with a 4 touchdown performance the next week against the Colts, then a 3 touchdown performance against the Titans. Nah, hold on. Yeah, there you go. So he had a lot of different things going on. And then turn around, hit you with a 3 touchdown performance against the Carolina Panthers. But he threw 15 touchdown passes, had 0 interceptions in 4 December games. He went 3-1 with the only loss being the 48-46 shootout to the Niners. And he just was fantastic. Like I said, named Offensive Player of the Month for December. And they announced that today as well. So that was a good bit of news as well. They can't deny his numbers. In December the 16th game against the Colts, he was 29 of 30 for 307 yards, 29 of 30. He had 1 incompletion. He had 4 touchdown passes, setting the NFL record for completion percentage at 96.7 that game. Became the NFL all-time leader in touchdown passes in that game, breaking Peyton Manning's mark. So it's interesting to say the least. But 15 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the month of December. That is a crucial month for the Saints. 3-1, of course, should have been 4-0. We ain't gonna cry over spilled milk, but that was a huge, huge, huge day for Drew Brees, man. Serious stuff, man. Serious stuff. That was really big. But anyway, that's some of the news right there. You heard Drew chiming in, man, on some of the news. The next interview we got chimed up for you, besides Drew, is Marshawn Lattimore. He's gonna speak his game, talk about his stuff as well. And you know how Laddie Daddy do. Don't make me do my Laddie Daddy impersonation, man. Y'all remember my Laddie Daddy, man. So this is Laddie Daddy. Y'all tell me if I sound just like Laddie Daddy. But anyway, here go Laddie Daddy. Break it down for y'all.
Like psyching ourselves out for the game. It's still a game, but it's important, but it's still a game. So, we're going to just take our preparation a little bit more, a little bit more treatment, a little bit more film, but we're not going to psych ourselves out and just get in our own head, like, oh, we got to be perfect, So, it's just the same atmosphere.
Marshawn, a lot of people talk about the next man up, but how comforting is it that you guys actually have people who can pull that off?
Yeah, I just said that the previous question. We had PJ playing safety. He just played 3-4 positions in his defense already, and it's always, next man up, and they're getting in and getting the job done. It's just not next man up, and he do okay. They're getting the job done. So, it's a big help to the whole team, and everybody loves seeing the next man up and getting in there and getting the job done, and no fall off from the man that was there previous. So that's good.
You've all known the playoffs since you got in here. How much do you look forward to this time of the year?
I love it. I love the playoffs. Everything counts more. Every little thing. It's all about the little things, and just preparation, and just knowing what you got. Everything. The fake people, show up, and the real people show up in the playoffs. So, I'm here for it. Everybody showed us, the world that we can do it. These past 2 playoffs, it was, last minute little things, but everybody knew, we can get the job done. So, just trying to show people, we can. This year.
That's Laddie Daddy, y'all chiming in, man. That's my Laddie Daddy, man. I ain't as good as Laddie Daddy speaking it, but yeah, man, he took it up an octave. He took it up an octave because he knows it's the playoffs. Just an octave. He ain't go that damn far. Just the octave. He took it up just a notch for the playoffs as he getting ready, tuned up to get ready to take on some of their best people. Perhaps Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, who's been struggling, trying to catch his rhythm, trying to get going. But very interesting indeed. But, man, we're going to see how it goes, man. Laddie Daddy's tuned up. He's ready to rock and roll, man. And then, of course, I got one more interview I'm going to hit you guys with before I go. And, of course, how could we talk playoff football and not let Cam Jordan chime in on it? Here's Killer Cam with his thoughts coming into the playoffs against the Vikings.
It's not about them, it's about us. At the end of the day, it's about our 53 man. So I feel like we have confidence going forward. We fought, to our best abilities, made it to a 13-3 season, and now we have to deal with whatever we have to deal with. We have the Vikings coming in, and we'll deal with them accordingly as we said in our game plan.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I remember your line this summer was your approach was going to be it takes a miracle to beat the Saints.
No doubt. No doubt.
How do you avoid that fate this time around?
I feel like our defense has grown and matured over the last 3 postseason opportunities, and again, this being the third. I I feel like we're poised to make a great run at this. It's not about what's happened before. That's a whole different other team. This is a team that has overcome so many different things, whether it be a quarterback going down for 5 games, us playing without some of our better players on our team. We talk about AK, Jared Cook. We talk about any one of our DBs at this point. Missing a couple of linebackers, we found ways to win. So at the end of the day, now it's just a culmination of not only our experience that we've put forth, but the talent that we have in our locker room. We're going to go out there and play all 4 quarters to the best of our abilities.
Sometimes it feels like maybe the 1 and the 2 seeds are a cut above the 3, 4, 5, and 6, but the fact that you all are 13 and 3, does this feel like a 3 seed at all?
I can only worry about what we have on our plate. We got the Vikings coming in. I feel like, when we play our best football, nobody can touch us, and that's just on us. You feel like whatever those 1, 2 seeds are, whatever the seed implications are, it's not going to affect us having a game at 12:05 here.
Ken, the way the defense is played, the Vikings are going to try to establish the run. Your run defense. What's been so effective consistently all season?
The last couple of years we've been in top tier defense. You talk about what we have in our locker room now. We're top 5 run defense. It's something that we've prided ourselves on. In my mind, 15 out of 16 games. But just saying that, there's always room for improvement. We've played some of the best running backs in the league, and at the end of the day, we're still standing strong on what we're capable of doing. So as long as we go into the game plan and knowing how to eliminate explosives, we just fine.
What maybe lessons did the team learn from the last 2 playoff losses? Did y'all take anything out of that?
Absolutely. If anything, it adds a chip on our shoulders. It adds a little bit more of a determination factor. You have to win it each and every time you take the field. You've only got so many opportunities. And now you talk about in the playoffs with single elimination. It's that much more important that you not only rely on the guys that you have in the locker room, but the experience that you've gained from everything beforehand.
What?
Were there years that the locker room wouldn't have been able to handle that emotionally and come back just as strong?
The question was,
were there years, obviously this is a very strong locker room, were there years that maybe the locker room wouldn't have been able to handle an emotional loss and come back 13 and 3?
Yeah, probably
everything that got thrown at them.
There was a 3-year stretch where we didn't make the playoffs. So you could say maybe we weren't built integrally, the locker room at that time, to withstand any sort of up and down season. But you talk about how we've revamped our defense, how we've moved forward and added key additions. You talk about guys who don't get talked about enough, like Demario Davis. You talk about guys you bring in like Malcolm Brown, who's been a part of a National Football League championship team not once, but he's been to a championship twice. Mal, you won how many Super Bowls? Oh, he's won 2 of them. All right. It's those added additions that just make you sort of understand what it takes to win a Super Bowl, makes you sort of understand all 16 games that you play just to put yourself in position to make a run at the Super Bowl. So each one of these moments are more and more cherished. So when you have the right locker room like this one, I feel like that's what's able to make us weather any deterring losses or any deterring situations and lets us overcome.
Killer Cam Jordan, man, couldn't have said it better, man. Killer Cam always had the right thing to say. Plus, he's entertaining to listen to, man. Always keeps it real. One of the smartest Saints on the team, man. But anyway, moving forward, you heard his comments on the Saints locker room and the fact that they focus on the team at hand, the Minnesota Vikings coming in. Of course, this is not our Minnesota Vikings breakdown of game. Of course, we usually do our preview games. That's Saturday mornings at noon Central Time on our YouTube channel. We'll go into it, break it down, open the phone lines up, live chat. You know how we do the most current injury reports plus more interviews, and then go ahead on in it. But we will have the full breakdown along with the TSC matchups, statistics. We'll go into a depth and show the depth charts, all that type of stuff, and the matchups that the Saints will have their man against our man. This playoffs, we got to do a little different. And of course, for the big game, man, for the big playoff game against the Vikings, I'm thinking about doing something a little different. I want the family to chime in as well. We'll have probably that Big Q, Will, and the Sports Coma fam. We're going to probably fire it up and have a full on a show. That's what would I call it here? I guess you would call it an in-game show. As the game is going, the show will be going as well. Try and add something different, throwing that at the family. I know we got a couple of requests through that, through email and through the chats, but this will be the first time we employ it. With something similar to like when we did the fantasy league show when we were on the line, we was picking fantasy league and stuff like that. Which big ups to our fantasy league guys as they won as well. But anyway, that's some of the things that I wanted to go over and what you guys pertaining to that. But that's something that we're gonna probably do. So if you like that, man, check it out. Derek says lost sound, man, family. Are y'all guys still hearing me? Give me a shout out in the chat, family, if you hear. Sound like I'm in live. My monitoring device that I use to monitor the live stream is showing that it is. Okay. Daquan said live stream. That's dope. Okay, let the family members, y'all know I like running things past the family members if they, if you want to. It's like a boardroom. This the Great Saints Think Tank, man. So you're members of the Great Saints Think Tank. Y'all give me a call. Y'all let me know. Shout it out to me in the chat. Let me know if that's a good idea. That the Sports Coma will be doing its very first live game, on game, during game broadcast, through the game, and then after the game. Okay, so if you guys like that, let me know. Good to see you on there, John Fletcher. Thank you for letting me know the sound is good. So family, chime in if you think that's a good idea, and we'll roll with it. Who that to you, Kev? Who that, Kev? Who that to you, Kev? Big ups to your family. I see you there. Damon Horton, good to see your family. Who that to you? In the chat as well. Joy and Isabella, big ups to your fam. I see you, Joy, my dog in there. Electric Club Shock as well. Truth Warrior, who that to you? True Louisiana Animal. And all the family members, man. I see y'all, man. I see y'all. I see my family in the chat, all the great family members in the chat as well. So if you guys think that is a terrific idea, y'all holler at me, man. Y'all let me know. Hey, Q, that'd be a terrific idea. That's a great idea. Do a Sports Coma during the game. Y'all let me know. Kev says, who that, Kev? He says, hey, Q, where's the Tulane Green Wave podcast? Man, we used to do the Green Wave in the first season of the Sports Coma. I think the second season, they just was so terrible. I just left them alone. It's not a real interest in the Tulane Green Wave in that. Who that to you, Kevin McKnight? We got two Kevins in there. Kevin and Kevin McKnight are in the building as well. Okay, Sub-Zero says, sound dope, Q. He like it as well. Roscoe says, who even invited the Vikings to our party on Sunday? They just think they can come and crash the dome. Nah, they're going to get crashed down. Louis Lombard, good to see your family in the building. What up? He says, who that from the Who Dat Nation? Cali chapter. That's right, Cali chapter. Way out there. Pablo, I see your family. True Louisiana says, yeah, it's a great idea. Derek says, yeah, Big Q, that would be fire. Boss Hawk says, sound like a good idea. Jermaine Scobie says, Scooby do it. I noticed that about him. He is young. Troy Thompson, who that, Troy? Revolt says, yeah, Q, talk my best shit during the game, homie. Okay, I got you, family. I got you. Gonna fire it up, family. We're gonna do it, man. We're gonna implement it coming up Sunday. It'll be pretty. It'll be the first one. It'll be a beta test, and I'm looking forward to it. So we'll do it up. But it's agreed then. So all the family members in the chat, please hit the like button just to give a quick synopsis to the rest of the family members. Gundam says it's a good idea. Thank you, family. Before we go any further, I want to give a brief synopsis to all the family members just chiming in. We went over the injury report for New Orleans for the Saints, showing that Eli Apple and Zach Line are not. They did not practice in the entire week. Von Bell was limited Wednesday. He fully practiced Thursday. So did Marcus Williams. So did Mike Thomas, who had a hand issue, and Dwayne Washington as well. So those guys fully practiced. I know a lot of people don't want to see Von Bell back. I mean, not Von, but Marcus Williams back in the role, being that the safeties played. But you know how Sean Payton's going to roll that guy back out there. Man, Marcus Williams, family, you're going to roll Marcus Williams' ass back out there in the dome against the team that he whiffed the hell out. Now, of course, we played that team since then. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm just a little, I guess you could say I'm a little cautious when it comes down to Marcus Williams and putting him around the Minnesota Vikings anywhere. But that's just how I'm looking at. Or who that Kev says, for some reason this year feels different. This year's team has faced so many adversity, and yet they find ways to win and stay together. This is our year. No doubt about it. A very magical year. The Saints have been awesome in terms of just not letting depth stop them, not letting scandals stop them, not letting injuries stop them, not letting rotten ass referees stopped them. They defeated them all. John Gill says, just curious, do you think Taysom could run the Lamar Jackson offense? He has the skill set to do it in terms of he's not nearly as accurate as a Lamar Jackson. It's very few to have Michael Vick type speed, but the accuracy, that's the thing that separates Lamar Jackson from many. He has the accuracy and the intelligence to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. And then when he takes off, he's the fastest man on the field. It's not just straight line speed. He has a series of moves. And when he came out of Louisville, he was just something splendid. And the Saints had an opportunity. I was yelling at the television for him to draft him that year. But you know who we ended up with. But can Taysom run that type of offense? Taysom's not accurate enough to run that offense. Maybe over time his accuracy has improved, but he's still not there yet. And that's not his fault because the thing is, like I've said before, and the family members know that I've often said this, is the fact that as long as you have Taysom Hill playing wide receiver, as long as you have Taysom Hill playing running back, as long as you have Taysom Hill playing anything but quarterback, it's going to stifle his development. Bottom line. And he's a quarterback by trade, but usually you see the guy just pretty much doing everything but quarterback. And every now and again you'll see him run the RPO or something like that. But most of the times it's running out of the RPO. It's not even throwing out of it. So in terms of his development as a quarterback, man, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing that really stumps him. So no, I don't think he can run Lamar Jackson. He has the speed, the toughness, the intelligence, but the accuracy is one thing I've always had an issue with as far as Taysom Hill is concerned. So thanks for that question, family. Let's move forward to the next deal. Who that Kev says for some. Okay, I read that one. Who that 504 boy says Saints about to punish them Vikings for beating the Packers like that. Was that supposed to? Damone says we got to win the Super Bowl. All the teams that's in the playoffs knocked us out of the playoffs at one point in time, but separate the Eagles and Green Bay revenge is necessary. I think we beat these teams, bro. And I like your historical analysis, but I think we beat these teams because we're better than these teams. That's the reality. We're better than the Minnesota Vikings, not to take nothing away from them. But injuries have really ate the Vikings up. They don't have the same aggression or whatnot. The defensive line's not the same. They got killer linebackers. The secondary's hurt. They've kind of limped and stumbled themselves into the playoffs. They're still very dangerous offensively. When you have that guy back there, the running back Cook is back there, he's very dangerous. If Thielen gets going against you, we got to take him out of the picture. We got to take out Stephon Diggs, they deep threat. Then not to mention Kyle Rudolph is a very good tight end, top 15. NFL tight end in the league. They have a decent offensive line. So, and Kirk Cousins, despite the fact that he falls short in big situations, he can still hurt you. So we have to be mindful that put pressure on him and stay focused. Jermaine Scobie says, I hear you, Big Q. I just was responding on the podcast. He felt that PJ shouldn't be a safety. Well, the young man got his ideas, but you see, you make the concern based upon with your own eyes. PJ Williams is a safety, man. He damn sure ain't a cornerback, so what else is he? What else is he? You going to play him at cornerback and you know he's a detriment to your team. He can't cover. He constantly have mental lapses in terms of that. He's comfortable. You see, just you do your eye test. Everybody can have their opinions. But what does your eye test say about PJ Williams? Is he a safety or a cornerback to you? I've been saying that. The guy's a tremendous tackler. He comes up to the line of scrimmage like a linebacker. He will tackle. And he looked really comfortable doing that. But you got to understand is that what does this eye test say to you? I can't comment on what other people say. That's their opinions and they have the right to do it. Pablo says, y'all quit hating on Apple. He's been good. Okay, we got an Apple defender. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Just don't let Kevin hear you say that, Pablo. Kevin says Marcus Williams started. Damn it. Joey, Boss Hog Apple's not that good. Soldier says we are cautious on Big Q as well. Yeah, I'm not glad I'm not the only one. Gundam says, seriously, Marcus Williams guy can't fundamentally tackle. We know that, bro. Read the scouting report, right, Kevin? Read the scouting report. Demi, she said, I hope William doesn't play Q. I know he probably will. So does Von Bell. They both fully practice. There's nowhere. He's going to run. Dennis Allen's going to run those guys out there. If they're healthy, he's going to play them. He's going to play him. He's going to run him out there. Who that to you? Sample rate 100 says they need to leave Marcus Williams in the locker room with ping pong tapes during the game. You know, the funny thing is his contract is due in 2021. And that injury, to be honest with you, that scouting report was dead on the money. I'm not going to lie to you. It was dead on the money. Read the scouting report. We do it all the time. There go Kevin talking about rotten apple. Jermaine says, right, I feel you, Big Q. I feel the same way. Yeah, it's the eye test, man. You know, and it's the instincts, it's the eye test. When you watch a player as much as you watch players, PJ Williams, been watching them for years. And I'm a little bit older than the rest of these guys doing this. So, you know, you come with that wisdom. You come in with just information. You come in with wisdom. And if you're paying attention, of course, you're going to have a little bit more to it. You're going to have a different mix of it to it. Everybody does. If you listen to different shows, and we got people that listen to different shows, you know, and I got respect and love for all of those guys, you know, I really do, because I consider them Saints family because they're in the Saints family. You know, that's just how I think. Many people are kind of, you know, the territorial, but I look at it as we all Saints family. You know, we all Saints family members, and everybody's going to have a different take. I am who I am, and they who they are, and that's just how we're going to do it. But my perspectives are that I know PJ Williams, he's not a reliable cornerback. He's a guy that would put probably what you could salvage at safety. Look at how he plays versus Marcus Williams. Come on. Marcus Williams tackles when he wants to, and he has fundamental breakdowns that's very disconcerting. I've been saying that for some time. So we'll just have to mount it, just keep watching him. Jerome, who that to you? I see your family. Good to see you there, Jerome. Joey says, I'd rather have PJ in the slot and Chauncey in the back with swearing or okay. He said PJ seems like he could fold under pressure. As much pressure as Williams folds under, I think PJ Williams will probably be all right back there as a safety because you damn sure don't want him as a nickel. He's fundamentally, just keeping it real with you, he's your best tackling cornerback. He's your best tackling cornerback, and he gets burnt on a daily basis. He needs help all the time. That's a liability as from a defensive back perspective, but, you know, it is what it is. DLP says Williams in the box safety. I'm saying this is the PJ Williams question. I'm going to just leave it at this. PJ Williams is not going to be on this team next year. You know, they're going to look for other people. They're going to bring other people in to play the position. But he does look interesting at the safety position. We've seen everything he can bring as far as cornerbacks are concerned. He gets burnt all the time, dude. I mean, he needs help all the time. So I'm like, he gets toasted all the time. Jason Barrier, who that to you? But, you know, like I said, man, put the film on the guy. You know, this is not a disrespect to PJ Williams. This, if, you know, PJ's listening to the podcast or he's listening to the broadcast, we're not just hanging PJ out to dry. We're saying, dude, for real, your technique's flawed. That's what it is. Your technique's flawed because you get scouting reports. You're supposed to use your speed and athleticism or use, you know, to help the team win, but they know he's a liability. Even when you play him inside, it's not a safe bet in there as well. So like I said, man, we'll see what happens on the back end because he bought PJ Williams. Remember, PJ Williams was so sorry that they moved Ken Crawley, and Ken Crawley took his job, and we know Ken Crawley's sorry, but he came in and took PJ Williams' job from him. You know, so it just goes to show you. And lapses in this, then PJ stepped up, then he fell back. He stepped up, then he fell back. That's what kind of player PJ is. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's frustrating because we've seen PJ Williams for 5 years now. And he has not reached the point where he's going to like get to a level and then elevate and keep going upward. And it's frustrating. That's why I said he got 1 year left on that contract. And the Saints are going to find other cornerbacks to come along to play, just like they found people like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Saquon Hampton. Those guys have a future in the Saints defense. They're going to draft guys and find undrafted guys to contribute from a defensive back perspective as well that come a lot cheaper than a PJ Williams will. But, you know, we'll see how that happens. He can't cover. So what do you do with a cornerback that can't cover? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Anyway, let's keep it going, family. Hit the like button, family, as we keep moving ahead. Miguel Lomax, good to see you, fam. He said, don't put him on the field if he's injured. Still talk about Eli. DLP said, PJ Williams in box safety. Scoop says, I watch them for the research. They be biting like fleas on the Irish settler. Man, listen, bro. it's what it is, fam. What can I tell you, man? I love them all, man. I love them all because I respect them all. They all my extended family, man. You know what I'm saying? They all my extended family. That's how I look at them. That's how I view them, I don't view those guys as anything but family. I don't see them as competition because they're not competition. They're family. Well, I view as competition, like I keep telling people, I'm looking outward at other platforms like Law Nation and all these other little Cowboys in San Francisco and their platforms. Those who I consider competition because they building up their platforms and we can't let them dictate the word on what the Saints is. We have to have our platform where we elevate so we can have a word so we can go at those people. That's what it comes down to. So I just leave it at that. But Jason says, with Jack Rabbit starting, they should be straight. Revolt says, teams going after Apple first drive of the game. Yeah, they did. They were attacking him. They were attacking him like they were attacking PJ Williams when he was in a slot. You got to remember, they know the weak points of your defense and they go at him. So, none of PJ is, if Marcus is there and Vine is there, PJ goes back in the slot. That's just how Dennis Allen, that's his, I feel comfortable with this defense mindset. Ballsog says, we don't have time for them to have their confidence issues. We're trying to get the bowl. That's right. If you ain't figure it out by now, you ain't ready. Bottom line, Jermaine says, LOL, Big Q, when you started talking about Ken Crawler, I started having flat. I'm telling you, bro, listen, I remember all that. I'm not a near, sight rememberer. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm not a real, who that, Tyra? I see you, baby. 911, who that to you, fam? Scoop says, Law Nation got me on lifetime ban, it seems like. Abraham Austin, who that to you? I see your family. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a nearsighted rememberer. You know what I'm saying? My memory spans back. I can go back and remember when this guy was doing this, when he was stanking it up, and then he made the jump from here. Like I can remember when Ingram was here, how terrible and how garbage Mark Ingram was the first 4 years he was here. Then he started to move up, and then he started to do this, and he damn near got cut, traded one time because the Saints almost lost confidence in him before he elevated. I remember all of that. Some people just come and say, Mark's a beast, and pick up the last 3 or 4 years that he was here, or like 3 years or so that he started really balling for the Saints. But I go back and remember the times that it took for them to get there. I remember when Cam was flat top Cam when he first got here, and he really wasn't that good. He didn't know how to rush the passer that good, and there was doubts about if he can, and he had all the pressure because J.J. Watt was getting all these sacks and Cam wasn't equaling up the sacks. They didn't have him as all that, and then Cam took off. I remember that. I remember flat top Cam and the rest of those guys, man. I remember the entire process. I just don't remember half of the back end of the process. You know what I mean, family? That's just how my mind worked. Okay, Scoop says, Abraham, we need to send a moving truck to your crib, bro. You gotta leave them folks for a minute. Let's see what we got here. Steve says, we don't have time for whiffers and slouchers and zombies. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it, Steve. Steve is telling the truth, man. And that's the reality. Yeah, Kevin says Mark Ingram had fumbling issues when he first came. He didn't know what hole to hit. He was running in the wrong hole. He was getting tackled really easy. He had all that. He was running top heavy. The guy just swipe at his feet and he'll fall over. All that was going on with Mark Ingram. All that. I remember all of that. He had to work through all of that stuff eventually before he was able to get to a position where he became Mark Ingram, who you know today. He went through hell in a handbasket and his processes before he found out how to figure it out. They all did at some point in fashion. But it's like when you go through the heat, do you excel through the heat, upward, onward, and keep inclining, or do you pull a PJ Williams? You go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And you just frustrate the fan base and your coaches as well. Let's see. Tara says, hey, everybody. See, Bang Bang 500 says, Joey. Let's see. Berlin says Apple hasn't been that bad, but he ain't played well enough for $15 million next season. Or on top of Janoris Jenkins, look for $10 million on top of keeping core pieces. That's a lot of magic for our buddy Mickey Mouse. That's right. That's true, Berlin. Reality is Janoris Jenkins does have $10 million on his contract. The Saints will have to decide on what to do with him. PJ Williams' contract falls off the book. They got some dead money that should fall off the book that should help the Saints as well. So plus the increase in the NFL salary cap will help the Saints. So they, like I did the the free agent special. If you haven't seen it, please feel free to do it. I'm going to make sure I post on the community section tonight for those who hadn't seen that free agency special that laid out the contracts and show who's who and why they're up and had all this kind of stuff going on. But the reality at the end of the day is PJ Williams is a guy that he's not coming back unless he comes back for really cheap, and he would have been gone to somebody else had he had not that DUI that he caught after the NFC Championship game. Nobody wanted to touch him. He was nuclear at that point. Nobody wanted to touch him. So let's see. Earl McMurray says, "Who that? We need to jump on the Vikings. Quick go for the juggler." Thank you, Earl McMurray. Who that to your family? Appreciate the comment. Boss Hall said we got some dogs back there now. Oh, no doubt about it. Miguel Nomack says no need to put the Vikings away early. Make them one-dimensional. That's what the running game is. Very interesting ideology the Saints have to employ. The Inside Baseball said the Saints will start running the ball. I'm a bit of a skeptic because I've been watching Sean Payton for some time, and it's one of those situations. Sean Payton says, "Okay, listen, we need to attack, we need to run the damn ball, we need to do such and such." Latavius Murray, 17 carries in the 17 carries, wasn't it? In the final game of the regular season against the Carolina Panthers. What was that for? Is that a tune-up for what he would get, some of the load that he would get for the playoffs? There were a lot of interesting things that occurred. But let me sprinkle this on your minds, family. We got 6 Saints players who need to step up versus the Vikings. This is an article that was done by the Saints Wire, one of my favorite little newspapers or e-zines I like to check out from time to time, have really good articles. This was one that was written called 6 Saints players who need to step up against the Vikings. And the 6 players that the author had rolled out was number 1 on the board, Janoris Jenkins. He said Janoris Jenkins had to step up. It said New Orleans acquired him in week 15. He saw action during the Saints week 16 against the Titans when he played 44% of the snaps. In week 17, Jenkins broke out and recorded 5 tackles, had that interception against Carolina. He played 100% of the snaps, so he went from 44% to 100% while Eli was on the shelf. Now, we expect the Jackrabbit to step up to solidify the secondary as he has done, and he more than likely will stick one of the two, either Adam Thielen or Stephon Diggs. Who would you put the Jackrabbit on? In my opinion, who's the better of the receivers? The Jackrabbit, does he go to Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs? I say put Marshawn Lattimore on Stephon Diggs. They deep threat, and put the Jackrabbit on Adam Thielen. What say you, Sports Nation? Who that? Who that to you, Till? I see your family. Good to see your family in the chat. What does the family members think about that? Who would you put on Stephon Diggs? I put Lattimore on him and Jackrabbit on Adam Thielen. That's just how I would call it. Demario Davis on Kyle Rudolph. Second man that the article says that needs to step up, Traquan Smith, wide receiver. Hot and Cold Smith will need to find that extra gear Sunday and play a similar level of production to the Week 17 performance against the Panthers. He caught 5 of his 5 targets for 56 yards in the score at the goal line, with no receiver yet emerged as a true consistent threat opposite of Mike Thomas. Smith must prove he can be a difference maker. Very true. I've been yelling about that the entire season. I've been sounding the goddamn alarm. Who that to you, Jesse? Jesse Jackson in the building. King Francois, who that to you? King Francois, see you as well. And my dog Teal as well. Special shout out to him as well. And all the family members joining in the chat. Please hit the like button, family, in as well as we move forward. Traquan Smith is a guy that I've always talked about. Traquan Smith's a guy, and I've been on that. Now, if had Sean Payton, during the times when we was making all this racket about Ted Ginn Jr., that was, a month and, a month worth of games prior to the playoffs starting, when I got on my run Ted Ginn Jr. out of town spiel, I was promoting him. Then I just seen that he was just stealing checks, and I said, you know what? And I went on my rant about Ted Ginn stealing money. Remember that? That's why I wanted Traquan Smith to be moved in the starting capacity, because Traquan Smith will represent a better weapon opposite of Mike Thomas than Ted Ginn Jr. is doing. Ted Ginn Jr. has less receptions than Latavius Murray, and Latavius Murray is the backup running back to Alvin Kamara. How's that even possible that a backup running back has more catches than a starting wide receiver opposite of Mike Thomas? Totally pathetic. Totally pathetic. Ted Ginn Jr. need to be ashamed of himself. But Traquan Smith should have been instituted in the offense a lot early on. for them. But finally, that's why I was saying Sean Payton didn't see it as a need because he's too busy sprinkling Taysom Hill in the wide receiver room. He's too busy sprinkling Elvin Kamara in the wide receiver room, moving Deontay Harris in the flash plays into the wide receiver room, and the steady guys that's there, which is namely Ted Ginn Jr. and Traquan Smith, which is 2 and 3 in the wide receiver room. Those guys are not performing. That you got to sprinkle those other guys in there. If Traquan Smith was actually performing, and he had a 50 catch season this year, you wouldn't see as much as most of those guys as much as you were seeing them. You'll see them, but you wouldn't see them as much as you're seeing them now. You know what I'm saying? They're like they're stealing touchdowns and receptions from those guys because they're not producing. Those guys being Ginn and Smith. So the article is saying that Traquan should be a guy that steps up as well. Third guy on the list, Elvin Kamara. Of course, we know Elvin Kamara finally came out of his zombie-like state. We talked about that in depth on the show. I had to sound the alarm for him to wake up. He woke up out of his zombie-like sleep state, and he came on really big over the last several games. Now, the injury, they can't talk about the injury no more. That man been back from the injury. He's just been in a hibernated state, but he's woken up, getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and out at the playoffs where he exploded back on the scene. He scored multiple touchdowns, and then it wasn't no big deal. It's like, oh, it's just, it's no big deal. Really, it's no big deal. You scored touchdowns in those games, and that was the first time since week 3 that you scored touchdowns, and it was week 16 and 17. But it's no big deal. Come on with that, man. Come on with that. Come on with that foolishness. Your game is getting touchdowns, either receiving them or running them. And you ain't get any touchdowns receiving or catching since week 3 when you got them in week 16 and 17, but it's no big deal. Come on with that. You're here to catch touchdowns. That's what you do in space. But they expecting Elvin Kamara to step up. He is waking up, and I'm expecting him to really be on fire or lit for this game against the Minnesota Vikings. Some more people that the article is making mention of. A.J. Klein is another guy that they're saying needs to step up against the Minnesota Vikings. Klein has been a consistent force along with Demario Davis. In week 17, he recorded his first interception of the season with 5 tackles. He had that pick for a touchdown against the Titans. And of course, he was dealing with injuries this season. And of course, y'all know how I feel about A.J. Klein. He's one of my favorite Saints players. He's a good dude. It's several of them that I always talk about on the show. But what's interesting about A.J. Klein is the fact that even though he was banged up this year, you see him in spurts wake up, especially during the last season of football, making tackles, getting interceptions, the pick 6. He's woken up, and he's really got a comfortable role in the Saints linebacker rotation. He's fresh, he's strong. You notice he got that step, that springiness, that explosiveness, and his step again, and he looks like revived. And I have to give that extra edge to him in terms of him feeling revived by the fact that you stick Kiko Alonso in there, you got Demario Davis in there. So in some aspects, AJ Klein is fresher, in that rotation, and he's more impactful. So yeah, no doubt about it. AJ Klein's last month of football, December has been absolutely terrific. I mean straight up, and he's really ascending right into the playoffs. Really big ups. And then, of course, the other 2 guys listed in the article is Trey Hendrickson, who is the guy starting opposite of Cam, and a lot of pressures on Trey Hendrickson since Davenport went under. He's Davenport's key backup, the top defensive end off the bench, and his snaps increased because of that. And week 6, and I remember he missed a lot of time during the season as well, but he needs to step up and play very good against this team. Cam can't do it on his own, but Hendrickson has really, if you look at the tape, if you look at the film, Hendrickson has been attacking the quarterback. He's been getting in the vicinity of the quarterback. He just hadn't been able to get the sacks. I think he had 1 sack or so during the past month, but he gets pressure to the quarterback. He has to seal the deal. But another thing about Trey Hendrickson that a lot of people haven't witnessed or realized, that he's become not just a pass rusher, but more of a balance in playing the run as well. That's something that I really seen for Trey Hendrickson, as he's been playing the run a lot better than what he's ever had. Not just firing off the line and trying to sack the quarterback, but he's actually using his brains and his arms and his muscles and everything to kind of stay in position to make sure he make plays on running backs if he need to. So I mean, he's really elevated. He needs to stay healthy, and he needs to elevate his game in the playoffs to another level, because I can see him doubling guys like Cam, and Trey Hendrickson's gonna have to take off, or like T-Rex, like my boy Scoob says. Then of course the final guy on the list was Mike Thomas. We don't need to say nothing. I don't know why he talking about he need to step up. Mike Thomas is just going to do what the hell he's been supposed to do, what he been doing all year long, what other wide receivers supposed to be doing on the other side of the team, on the other side of the field, from him supposed to be doing. And he had a kind of a sorry game against Carolina, because he was constantly PI'd in that game. The guys the defensive backs were hitting him right before the ball get there. They were, and it was just a poorly officiated game in terms of Mike Thomas is concerned. And he was constantly with his hands up, looking for pass interferences that never came. So discounted that game for the fact that he still had 4 catches in that game to add on top of what he did to Marvin Harrison's record, setting it, and then he's put 4 more receptions on it just to make sure it's nice and good out of the way, so it belongs strictly to him. So those are some of the players that was mentioned in the article: Janoris Jenkins, Tre'Quan Smith, Elvin Kamara, A.J. Klein, Trey Hendrickson, and really Mike Thomas shouldn't be on there, man. He shouldn't be on that goddamn list. But anyway, that's some of the stuff going on. Let me bounce to your chat, family, and kind of read the concerns and questions from the family members as well. Let me see what the family here is saying, just to bounce back to you. Let's see. DLP 2600 says, coming out of Florida State, a lot of people thought he was better slotted for safety than cornerback. Might have to read PJ Williams' scouting report. That might be the thing that we probably want to read, because I read Marcus Williams' scouting report. Maybe somebody need to read PJ Williams' scouting report and see what the hell they had to say about him when he was coming out. All right. Speaking of which, somebody had to read it. I guess it'll be me, because I got it pulled up here. This is from 2014. Okay. Listen to what this is. Mike Mayock, who's the current general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders. He says, this is his draft analysis from NFL.com. Remember, the Saints signed Brandon Browner in free agency. Williams can play corner or free safety. Did you hear that? That's coming from Mike Mayock. He was drafted in round 3, 14th pick, 78th overall from Florida State. And let's see what they say about his analysis. Strengths: possesses desired height, weight, speed, able to bump, face up, handle business from press coverage all day long, bump and run specialist, length and strength to put receivers in detour mode off the jam, waits to open hips up until receivers, has committed his release, able to turn and run and close, has feel to stay wired on inside, outside, able to get on top of the vertical routes and smother, can carry speed down the field, outstanding timing, ball skills to knock, throwaway, instinctive, aware, extending outside of his area to make plays, sure tackler, and open field with second gear to explode into ball carriers. That's his strengths. Weaknesses: physical down the field, could take time to accumulate, NFL illegal contact rules, stays on high side down the field, opening himself up to easy comebacks, appears to lose some interest when asked to cover in zone, won't be able to consistently jam savvy NFL receivers off the line, motor runs hot and cold, man's up and down. Look at the scouting reports are dead on the money with a lot of this, man. Motor runs hot and cold, shows up steady when stakes are high, but puts in cruise control and play looks less motivated against lesser opponents. Inconsistent to step downhill and attack the run. They project him as a second rounder. The Saints got him in the third. And then they saying the bottom line, the NFL comparison, Stephen Gilmore. It says bottom line, cover cornerback, not even close. With talent to play on the island and swagger to regroup, forgot when beaten. He definitely forgets when he gets beaten, because he gets beat a lot. If he did, he'd probably be the world's most depressed man. Williams could cover outside from the slot and has the potential to come in and start right away for an aggressive man cover defense. Williams has some issues recovering when beaten deep and may end up making a move to safety on the next level. He has the talent to be a capable NFL starter at either position. It's NFL Network, man. I didn't never read this. I never read this again. But like I said, I'm paying attention to what my eyes are showing me. You know, this is NFL. Anybody can go to NFL.com, put in PJ Williams, and read the scouting report for yourself, and see what DLP says. Sound like PJ Williams. Steve says we've been passing on a 2.5 sec passing game. Let's see. Sad Scott, who that to you? Sad, he said you can see him from behind those big linemen, shoot from behind them like a cannon. Let's see. Pop is no care on my phone and gave him the boot. Okay. Yep. So that's PJ Williams, man. Edward Labarsky, who that from Mexico, New Mexico. Good to hear from you, Edward. Who that to your family? For all the family members, the newer family members that's in the chat, if you aren't a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, family. Got over 100 people in the chat tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Sports Coma. We on the road right now. That's why I ain't doing my regular type of podcast, but I still chime in with the family, man. I still got to talk to the family members, man. I made a promise that during the middle of the week I had to talk to the family members there, and they said, Q, you take too long, bro. From Sunday to Saturday, that's too long, bro. You got to do something else. So this is my attempt to honor my agreement with the Black and Gold family members in the Great Saints Think Tank, and I'm honoring that agreement. Hopefully I won't give some more shows to the family members as well, man, covering the Saints talk as we move forward. But anyway, that's PJ Williams scouting report. I've read PJ Williams scouting report and Marcus Williams scouting report to you guys. And in PJ Williams scouting report, Mike Mayock and several other scouts from NFL.com list him as a safety, cornerback safety prospect. Why is that? Because they're looking at his size, his tackling ability, the fact that he's not that great of a corner. Who knows? PJ Williams just probably needs to go somewhere where he can have a breath of fresh air. Maybe he goes to another team that can utilize him and put him somewhere, and maybe he'll do that. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Perhaps that's what it can come to, you know. But as far as from what I witnessed, PJ Williams as a New Orleans Saint, he can't cover, dude. I'm sorry, he can't. Tyler says just saw it pop up as a notification on my phone that gave him the boot. Who are y'all guys speaking about? They still can't have Coach Payton. Let's see who that. The rest of the family members. I see you there, family. Appreciate you joining the chat. 985 says sound the alarm. Okay, family. I'm gonna open up the phone lines and quickly. I got a decent internet connection here, so we're gonna open up the phone lines for the family members to chime in and call the Great Saints Think Tank. Get your word in, what you think about everything going forward, and just give me just a few seconds, and I'm going to put you guys in the chat. 95 people joining the show right now. I want you guys to hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you aren't a subscriber to the Great Saints Think Tank. Hit the notification bell as well. Move ahead. So, all right. The live line for you guys to call 504-475-4482. 504-475-4482. Feel free to call the Great Saints Think Tank, baby. 504-475-4482. 504-475-4482. That's the live line. We'll take a few callers, family, you know, tonight on the show. Feel free to call in, questions, concerns, comments, anything you guys want to talk about. I know I had got a couple of emails and comments in the section about talking about Antonio Brown and his questions, what he said, well, his crap about what he said about the Saints using it as a stunt, some type of publicity stunt. And people wanted to know what my thoughts on that were. And pretty much all I had to say about Antonio Brown is that he's a fool. And I was saying that before. And I've told you guys that I don't like Antonio Brown. Y'all guys know that. Y'all know I don't like Antonio. I've said that. I don't like Antonio Brown. I don't like him, but his skill set, who that to you, Demetric Holmes. I see your family. Good to see you in the chat as well. Big ups to you. But I've said that before. I don't like Antonio Brown. But football is not necessarily a game about liking people. It's business, a business. You know, if the man can help you in a position that you feel is a weakness, then if he could come in and keep his mouth shut and do what he's supposed to do, and all that, I think that will hit. And the Saints locker room, why I like the Saints locker room, because it's about winning. When you get here, all the shenanigans, you say he doing that to stay relevant. That's all that is. He doing all that to stay relevant. He's one of these people that loves the attention. He wants the attention. He wants the attention. But I've been said that. I'm on record. I don't like the guy. And I don't like the guy because of the obvious reasons. But you can't deny his talent. If he stopped playing today, the dude going to the Hall of Fame. Bottom line, I've also said that. So at the end of the day, yeah, that's my thought process on it. Who that Neville? I see your family. Red Cross 504 says, "Whoa, now you be everywhere, huh?" Who that to your family? Good to see you in the building as well. If you're not a subscriber family, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to the Great Saints Tank. We do this all the time, man. We talk like this all the time. We got some of the greatest black and gold family members in the building, and I'm asking you to join us, man. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit the like button as well. Nicholas Paez, who that to you, Nicholas? I hope I pronounced your last name correct, fam. Nicholas, who that to your family? The rest of the family members. Okay, we got a call, family. Let's see who's calling us here. Hold on here. All right, hold on here, family. Hold on. Just give me a second. Let me reset that. Let me reset that for the family members. I'm sorry we had something had an error occurred right there, but don't worry. Do not worry at all. I'm gonna reset it, and I want you to call in again, family. Whoever was calling, give me just a second. I'm gonna reset the line there so you can call in. And I'll get you in like Flynn. Hold on here. All right, had to reset it. They had some type of error occurred. But, that don't stop you, boy. Anyway, feel free to call in. Whoever that caller was, whoever wants to call in, feel free to call in. 504-475-4482. 504-475-4482 is the number, family. Call in. If whoever that was, it dropped out. That was my bad. I had to reset the line, but call in again. I'll get you in there. Tyvon Smith, who that to your family? James Wilson, who that to your family? Papa Slim, I see your family. Brandy Jones, JCL Systems. Marvin Norman, who that to your family? What up, fam? Thank you for calling Sports Come Home Speaking Week.
All right, bro. What's up?
What's going on, my fam? How you doing?
All right, man. I just want to call and say the Saints got this game. They're going to be on the way to the Super Bowl, brother.
I appreciate that, my brother. What's your name?
Damrus Afshar. I'm from Louisiana, but I live up in Louisiana. I live up in California now, but...
Okay. Okay, in Cali. You said Darren?
No, Damrus.
Dannon.
No, Damrus, like dam and wrist. Just with no T.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, but go ahead, bro. You said the Saints. Man. You feel like they're going. What do you think about the matchup coming up, man? What you think we need to do to kind of seal the deal?
Man, we just need to do what we always do. We ready for this, man. They ain't gonna pull no tricks on us like they did last time, and the referees ain't better trying on that trick. This team is ready to go, man.
Well, I definitely think you're right, family. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings is a game, man, where the Saints have that history, but as of recent, this team is just one of those teams that we enjoy beating on, and taking it to. This is not like I've been telling people. This is not underestimation by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just saying in terms of who this team is. This team is not. In terms of their talent level, this is the lesser of the Minnesota Vikings teams that we played the last several seasons. They got injuries all over the place, but we could take advantage of that. There is no underestimation of this Minnesota team. I think we definitely in that dome will take care of business against the Vikings.
I agree with you, man. Kamara, Thomas, and what's the guy's name? That new one, that big tall guy. When he got knocked out in the San Francisco game.
You talking about Jared Cook?
Yeah, man, that's a killer dude there. With all these guys going, I'm not worried at all, man. Minnesota's worried, I guarantee
you. Yeah, no doubt about it, man. They trying to get their little guys going at them, Thielen, their little running back. They're trying to figure out whether or not he's playing. I mean, listen, injuries all over the secondary. They got a lot of injuries in the secondary, and they definitely concerned coming off how Drew Brees played the month of December, when all of those numbers. The Saints are ascending, and Minnesota is the wrong. They drew the wrong team here, buddy.
All right, and before I let you go, man, I'm so sick of the damn media reporters trying to act the Saints. Y'all sure y'all gonna be able to make it? Y'all ain't hurt over losing these 2 games and that. Man, give me a damn break. They treat them like they stupid. Hey, is this golf won't make it on air? Oh no.
One more time. One more time, family.
Is this call that I'm talking to you right now is gonna make it on your air?
Yeah,
on your way?
Yeah, it's on there right now. They're listening to you talk right now. Everybody can hear you.
Oh shit! Oh, all right, man. Thank you, brother. God bless you.
Same to you, my brother. And who that to you? Be safe up there.
Who that to you, family.
Peace.
God bless you. Peace.
That's a good call, brother. Calling in from California, man. Good to hear him say he's from down here, but calling in. And man, I tell you what, man, California's a beautiful place, man. But if you from from the region, from the New Orleans area, man, it's just, I don't know, man. It's a different feeling. After Katrina, we kind of flee toward Texas. We were up in the metro area, Metroplex, I think they called it. Whatever, we was up there, and for a while we went to South Atlanta, Jonesboro, whatever. And let me tell you something, man. You get homesick. It's the culture, it's the feeling, and it just kind of stick with you. So every now and again, if you're away, you gotta, you have the urgency to kind of come back for the food, for the region, whatever. That's the great part about being black and gold, man. We go somewhere else and we turn other people black and gold because of our culture and how we handle things. So I like to appreciate the brother for calling in as well. He didn't know he was live. The Sports Coma Live, family. All right, family. Good to hear that caller right there. Let's keep it moving, man. Hit the like button, family, if you please. The live line is open for the family members who want to know. 504-475-4482. Holla at your boy. Question, concerns, comments, either the chat or live in. Call in. What do you guys think about the matchup coming up? How does the Saints defense sync against the Minnesota Vikings offense? How do you like that? How do our defense look against their defense against our offense, or our offense against their defense? How do you guys see it? Any other things that you want to talk about? Perhaps the AB news, him saying that it was a publicity stunt, which is absolutely asinine. We don't do publicity stunts down here, fam. We don't do publicity stunts down here. We don't need publicity stunts. That's the great thing when you win in goddamn games. Let me shoot this message at Antonio Brown for a second. We don't need publicity stunts, Antonio Brown. When you're 13-3, you don't need publicity stunts when you're 13-3. Antonio Brown. Who that to your family? Thank you for calling the Sports Coma. Who I'm speaking with.
What's going on, Q? This is Miguel.
What up, Miguel? How you doing, fam?
I'm doing all right. I just want to touch on offense and defense right quick. I think our defense in a much better situation now that we done got the Jackrabbit. Okay. Not that Eli Apple had a bad season, but it do seem like he lost confidence a little bit, and I don't know if it was that injury he had in Chicago that nagged him a little bit. Right. But it just seemed like he was just a little bit more prone to grab somebody because he didn't want them to make a big play on him, and that kind of hurt us a little bit. And I do feel like if he's not 100%, he wasn't playing good, not hurt. So I don't think in the playoffs they need to play with him and put him out there unless he's at a nickelback or a limited capacity. Mm-hmm. Because the stakes are high now. Just like, the Minnesota got some good receivers and a decent tight end.
Right.
Same in San Francisco. And we didn't have the Jackrabbit then. But we let guys, they first year, Debo Sanders and all of them, Debo Samuel and all of them guys just run amok on us.
Yeah.
In our house. Yeah. Put up 48 points. Yeah. Now, I do think that lineup they had last week, adding Von Bell to that, I kind of don't even think they put Marcus Williams back in there just yet. If he not, because a groin injury, that's your explosiveness right there.
Right.
And if he gonna need that to tackle and fully healthy, he was already having problems tackling.
That's right. Absolutely.
Offensively, I know Ginn been in the doghouse, but I kind of feel like a lot of the stuff with Michael Thomas being pretty much a one-man show with the receiving corps all year. I kind of feel like towards the middle of the season, that's kind of Sean Payton doing because he want to save all his stuff for the playoffs, because we do got some other guys that we'd be like, dang, we looking at it, we should get them involved more, but I don't think that he want to show his hand just yet. And I think he about to let it all unfold because we got Josh Hill, we got Jared Cook, we got Kamara, and we got Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith, the kick returner. He a speedy threat. He probably like a future Tyreek Hill right there. And I think Drew Brees and Sean Payton masterminding all of those weapons. I kind of think that towards the middle of the season, they kind of wanted to give Michael Thomas that record because, he got the money, but he show it every week. He a hard worker, so Sean Payton reward his players like that. The other guys, Traquan Smith, he gonna do his job if he called upon. It's just Sean Payton didn't do that much in drawing plays up for all of these other guys we got because Jared Cook winning the matchup damn near every play you could throw it to him. Michael Thomas, he beating 2 or 3 people every time. So I think it was kind of a case of why do something else when I'm winning like this and I need these full games from here on out to the Super Bowl to expand my playbook. I kind of think that he kind of left it in the wind for the rest of the NFL is mainly the NFC because like Green Bay and 49ers, they're going to watch some film. And Sean Payton want to do his best to make sure that they don't have no film to watch to see what he's going to do. Because he's been known to do stuff like that.
Right.
But I think that, I think that we're going to be all right. I think that we're supposed to win this game. Lately, we've been doing what we're supposed to do against teams we're supposed to beat. And I don't think, I think the 3 seed, I don't think it really matter how we going in the playoffs. I kind of like that, they going in there playing at their best ball. Because last year, they kind of backed into the playoffs. Even with the no call with the Rams, it was still a chance to win that game, and we didn't. The no call was bad, should have been in the Super Bowl, but we still had other opportunities to put our stamp and take care of business. Like you said, we didn't take care of business against San Francisco earlier this year, so that's why we playing this weekend.
Right.
But I think the defense gonna be all right. I think the offense gonna move the ball, and I really think that it's important that not just with them, but throughout the playoffs, we step on these teams' neck from the get go. I think San Francisco and the Ravens, that's the teams. If we win the toss against them, I think we need to get that ball and go score because they're not built to come from behind. Aaron Rodgers kind of a 14-point lead. I ain't gonna say it ain't nothing to him, but that's still Aaron Rodgers over there, regardless how Green Bay looking this year. And I trust him more than any of them other quarterbacks not named Drew Brees or Russell Wilson out there.
Yeah, you got a point, bro. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he's dangerous. And we have to understand, too, all these teams that's in the playoffs. When you get to the playoffs, it's basically the cream of the crop for each side of the spectrum, NFC, AFC. So, these teams coming into it, they done more than enough. They were more than sufficient enough to be able to conquer whatever they need to conquer, win as many games as they could to get to the playoffs door, get in the playoffs, and be a part of the tournament for the championship. So, we know the talent levels of these teams coming in versus the injuries and the adjustments that they made. They're struggling, like you see with the Philadelphia Eagles, made the adjustments, move players in, move players out, and they playing a little differently.
Yep.
Same deal with the Saints. Saints have always, through this entire season, have been dealing with injuries. And the fact of the matter is they have that next man up player mentality. Everybody says that the Saints implement it to master levels. Bottom line, if you still bring in pressure with backups, still coming with waves and waves with undrafted guys, like Carl Granderson, they moving him in, and then they pick guys off the street like Janoris Jenkins, who falls in their left, DJ Swearinger and the likes. They just add an extra dimension to the team. You're right on all your analysis.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying right there, family. I think, Miguel, you're right on the money. And I just say, like, the next part about the Saints jumping on them, scoring, but also controlling the ball. This is pivotal in the playoffs. This is why we simplify the game. If you work the clock, time of possession, TOP, I keep saying it because it's so instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
Controlling the flow of the game, like Coach Payton always speaks about, the only way you control the flow of the game is through the manipulation of the clock, by controlling the clock. by running the ball and methodically moving the ball down the field against your adversary, eating the clock and taking those possessions away from them. It forces them to adjust their game plan, get a little bit desperate, and they basically, if you do it right, they one-dimensionalize themselves. So you shut them down. So we have to do everything that we've been doing over the last 3 games. We shut opponents down from running the ball, put pressure on their quarterback, and cover and force turnovers and don't turn the ball over. Then the other avenue that we have yet to talk about is the referees, which will be neutralized by really good play. Once we get up on these teams, we take the referees out of the game. Now, of course, they can throw these little holding plays and hands to the face. They just get ready for that because they've been doing that all season long. But when we play the way we've been playing in terms of playing mistake-free football, which we set the record in least turnovers in the entire season, nobody wants to talk about that in the national media. That is quite the achievement. But the Saints are the team doing that. The Saints are the team. They're very disciplined, and we just have to implement that. Now, word on the street, though, fam, is that they're expecting to run Latavius Murray more and implement that time of possession, control, and dominate the clock scenario. I think that'll probably be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because at the same time, their defense play better when they rested, and they play better with a lead because you're gonna make Kirk Cousins one-dimensional, and their number one weapon is Dalvin Cook. We don't know how healthy he is, but the Saints have shown that they could withstand a Pro Bowl caliber running back. They did it to Ezekiel Elliott. They were shutting them down. They were shutting Christian McCaffrey down last week. I mean, the 49ers, they gimmick played us for that. They trick played us and did those little jet sweeps and a couple of little, their options. And at the same time, they do have a good running scheme coach. Hell, his daddy was a good running coach, so he been knowing running plays all his life. So he know how to get it, especially if he got 2 to 3 decent running backs and a quarterback that he just, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not top tier yet. Not to say he's gonna ever be top tier, but he's not the reason that they'll ever lose a game. And that's all he needs in his system. Because, he got to the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan and the Falcons a couple of years ago, and I guess that's eating at him because he did abandon the run, and that's what enabled the time of possession. Going back to what you said, that's what enabled New England to come back and beat them. But these refs, I agree with, they need to take care of business to separate the margin that they got to be. If they're a better team than a team, usually this year, they had to be way better than a team because you count on 90-something yards or a couple of key penalties to at least put the other team back in the game. And, like my wife that don't know nothing about football could be watching it and be like, could tell they're cheating. So it's something going on. It's something going on. My wife's just really getting into football because I'm religiously watching it and watching Saints news all week and stuff like that. So she really, it's something she's into now. So, and she's not to say females don't know about football, but hey, certain things, if you could, a kid can watch it and be like, that's not right or whatever. It's something that needs to be shed light on. But I think that they're going to like you said, they're going to go through hell. Sometimes it might be the coldest hell to get to what they got to go to. And that's just going to make it sweeter at the end because they've been deserving this for 2 to 3 years now.
No doubt about it, Miguel. That's truth on top of truth on top of truth, Cone. Straight up, bro. This the reality, bro. That we mentioned about the referees. We talked about the referees. Referees always been a nuisance for the Saints under the Goodell era. Because of the relationship the Saints had with Goodell wasn't a positive one. So he's very vindictive, as you can see. He doesn't give a care. He never apologized to the Saints Nation about the calls. He never issued you draft picks back. He never tried to extend an olive branch of peace to the Black and Gold Nation. So it's thus we have labeled him as an enemy, and all his all of his allies, which is the referees that come in here and circulate their crews here, they all do the same things to you. They steal touchdowns off the board from you. I've constantly documented those. Like I said, for the last 12 to 13 plus weeks, you have been leading the NFL in calls and penalties, which I'm pinpointing and saying that this is not the way of an undisciplined team. The Saints are disciplined enough, and I said that before, and I constantly said the Saints are disciplined enough to have the least turnovers in NFL history in a season, but undisciplined enough to get a series of penalties during the game. How does that work? So you disciplined enough to not turn the ball over, but you're not disciplined enough not to have penalties called against you. That's obviously a default by the NFL. They're just hoping that you're not astute enough to pay attention to how the game is played. But we astute enough. We're not just a bunch of dum-dums watching football and just take whatever the so-called officials say as official. No, we challenge you based upon your rules. We challenge you based upon what you say you have integrity. We want you to hold to that integrity. We didn't ask you about your moral standing. What does that have to do? When you call it fair and biased, we'll see it as such. And I've often thought about that, man. Like you have some of these news people. First thing they try to get people in is to say that we are unbiased. We're fair. We're your number one this or number one that. You know, that stuff, that's not up to you to determine that. That's up to the people to determine who you are. That's not up to you to say. But so if that's done to reflect and mold people's mind states to say, yeah, I guess it is true. No, weaker minded people that'll fall for that, but strong minded people know who they want to be with. You know, so if you look at what the Saints is overall, bro, this, like you said, this team has been molded from the flames of the things that have happened that will literally disintegrate and destroy other teams. Other teams could not survive the type of stuff that we've been through. And the only other team in history in the NFL that I liken the Saints to in that amount of disgust and the downness that we felt was the Buffalo Bills of yesteryear when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost every last one of them. In 2 of the Super Bowls, they lost to the same team. That's the only thing I can look back in and say that was really hard to go through, because it's tough enough to get to the Super Bowl, but then you get there 4 times and lose all 4 times. So, I mean, that's amazingly terrible, but, you know, that's what happened with us. But they had an opportunity. Saints have to understand their role, and they have to play above it. Bro, I've been saying this for some time, and I'm just going to shut up after this. The Saints, the last 2 years, you know, we look at the referees and officials. The Minnesota Miracle came down to a rookie put in a bad situation, a pressurous situation, and he malfunctioned. You know, I call it whipping, but he malfunctioned, bro. Marcus Williams malfunctioned and fell apart in a moment. The biggest moment in the game. He was a rookie and he couldn't handle it. That happens every day. The second time around against the Los Angeles Rams in the Dome, you had a rookie that dropped the touchdown pass. The man was a rookie. He was an undrafted rookie. He dropped the touchdown pass that could have put you in the Super Bowl. So Sean Payton understands that. From the points that both the times we came down, old legendary coaches will tell you that a rookie represents a loss. He represents a loss. As great as Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was, had he made the play in the San Francisco game of merely tackling the man as soon as he got the ball, the Saints would have won that game, would be sitting at the number 1 seed. That's why the legendary coaches said that a rookie represents a loss. Look it up. Have the historian, the resident historian tell you about it. But that's what I'm saying, man, at the end of the day. The Saints have learned that lesson. We do have he has veterans in place that have went through that playoff heat that need to step up. So, like I said, the onus of the Saints this year is correcting the faults, moving forward, and just conquering these people. Bottom line, no mistakes, man. No mistakes, no excuses. Like my boy Sub-Zero said.
Yeah, I was feeling him on that. He was amped up too, and that's what they need. That's what that locker room needs. They got a lot of leadership in that locker room, starting with Drew Brees, the Mario Davis taking over for a lot of the leadership roles, especially with the pregame hype and stuff before the game and stuff, and getting everybody, you know, juices and blood boiling and stuff like that before the game.
Right.
And that rookie, like, even though he a rookie, CJ, like you said, give him 2 or 3 years, he gonna be something serious, because he played with a lot of energy and swag. He did miss that tackle, but you could tell he the type of player that he wore that mistake on his face in the mirror every day of that week, and was like, he not gonna make that mistake no more. It's like certain people are making mistakes, certain good players are making mistakes in this game, as long as football has been around, and the great ones correct it. Not to say he's not gonna never make another bad play, but he know what happened right then and there. And like you say, we gotta go through this. If we gotta play the 49ers in San Francisco, I got confidence in the Saints. It's like, you from New Orleans. I'm not sure if that's where you're from, but you know how that guy that got beat up on the first day of school by somebody, he want his round back. And I feel like that's what that whole Saints team want. They want their round with them boys. Just like, last year when we lost to Dallas, they was hoping Dallas made it to them to play them again. Because the Saints, Sean Payton is like that. It might not be a rival. He gonna say in the media it's not a rival, but he want his team. He want him and his team to respond to all of those teams that the media been like, the Sports Center and everybody been like, well, this team ranked above the Saints in the power rankings because of this. We was the first team to expose San Francisco defense. That's the number one defense in the NFL. And granted, it say a lot about our defense for allowing 48 points, but Drew Brees and Sean Payton with an injured Jared Cook that they took out in the first quarter or whatever still caused 46 points on them dudes, man. And it really came down to one of them games where we scored a little bit too quick.
You're right.
That's the reason. We scored a little bit too quick, and they didn't already. Jimmy Garoppolo and and Kyle Shanahan, they already was in their offensive rhythm. So getting down in field goal range, even though they got it on a 4th and 2 play where CJ, if he would have made that tackle, who knows what would have happened if the clock would have ran down a little bit more on them, or the Saints would have adjusted better to the next play, called the timeout, got their bearings or something like that. But it came down to like you said, a rookie missed tackle. He tried to do a shoestring tackle on a tight end that don't hit. Heck, your linebacker or your best tackle and safety can't really bring him down by itself, so that's not gonna really get him down. But that was the angle he had on him, and that was the only thing he could do to try to get him slowed down. And then lo and behold, a whiffer comes to be the last line of defense to try to get him down.
And the whiffer helped.
Yeah, and then the whip. If we depended on the whiffer to make a tackle against a guy that one guy can't really bring down, like you said, he get the worst and the most tackles. Man, we in a bad predicament. But I think overall, like you say, Swearinger and the Jackrabbit, Swearinger do add that leadership in a safety locker room, in a safety room. When they going over certain plays, certain things, certain situations, he a veteran. He's been playing a little bit longer. He don't have a raw skill set that like a Von Bell and even like the cover skill set of Marcus Williams. But he got that, he got that guy. He's that guy that I guarantee you they could go in the locker room or they could go in a film study room and listen to what he got to say because he's been there and done that. He was a good player in his league. He just kind of ended up on some sorry teams where, he wasn't put in the best predicament because he's a safety. He's not a cover safety. He can cover, but he's not a cover safety.
Yeah, you make some good points, bro. And you're right, man. I see a lot of that, man. But address the scouting report situation, man. That's just something I had to go back and look at. I was like, how did they, about him and Marcus Williams? I didn't come up with the term, but the scout used the term finesse safety. Man, Kevin was on the phone with me last show, and he was like, Q, they said finesse safety. He gets the worst of the hits. He gets dragged during hits. That's not a safety that you will want to try to put back there to try to be your last line of defense, man. And plus, it just keeps happening. Like, I didn't like the Minnesota play. I wanted to get rid of the kid then. And I wasn't being heavy-handed with the dude that said, well, he can redeem himself, Q. A lot of people say, don't you believe in redemption? This is the Saints after all. I say, yeah, we believe in redemption. But at the same time, you have to understand, sometimes people showing you who they are. And this kid showed, your job is to tackle, you the last line of defense, and you give up a play, even though you helped them get in that position in the same game, which kind of erases the fact that it means anything because you gave up the back end play. So it really don't mean a hill of beans. But the play against the 49ers were really puzzling to me. Where is your mind? Where's your mind? You cannot, if that if you'd have tackled them, you got to them in enough time to drag them down, push them out of bounds, whatever. By helping him with the face mask and adding the extra, you held his face mask for 10 yards, forced the referees to make the call, and they called the face mask a 15-yard penalty that put them even closer into field goal range, assuring the kick. So, I mean, the kid's young. We all know this. But at the end of the day, a lot of people's nervous about having them out there, not just because of the Minnesota Miracle game. They ain't even looking at that no more. It's the fact that you had several games, Drew, this season where he had whiff opportunities to blow players up on goal line situations that he just got away from it. But it's a series of things with Marcus Williams, man. So hopefully, man, I don't know if this dude can ever be the type of safety that they envision him to be. I don't know, man. From what I'm seeing, he makes some good plays. He leading the team with interceptions. He is in the top 5 or so as far as the tackles are concerned on the team. But man, and then the PFF guys, the softest crew in all of professional football talk, is talking about the man's the best player on the team. What measurement are you using for? What foolishness are you using? But it's just more of the same, though, fam. But yeah, Miguel, I agree with your points.
That's crazy. That's crazy. As far as the Minnesota Miracle, I kind of feel like that was a poor defensive scheme or play for that situation from the get-go, because just like we seen it, they see this guy every day in practice. So knowing that it's possible that it's gonna come down to him and make a tackle, they kind of put him in a bad predicament. Yeah, he could have tackled him, knocked him out of bounds, anything or whatever. I'm not gonna take from his mental breakdown, like you said, malfunction he had in that game. But all in all, it's just like playing Madden, and you should be in prevent defense, but you're in man-to-man or something like that. So somebody got beat bad, and then you leaving it up to you trying to use the control, tackle somebody. It's not going to always work out for you, especially if that person, like Stephon Diggs, he kind of shifty with the ball in his hand. So he kind of got the best of him on that one, and he blew right by him. Last year, that pass interference, like you said, a rookie dropped a pass. They had ample opportunities to seal the deal and handle business in that game. Anytime in the Superdome, in the playoffs, you got Drew Brees and Sean Payton up 13-0. It's supposed to be step on their neck for the rest of this game. Get this game damn near over with by the fourth quarter so you can rest some of your starters. But that didn't happen. I guess, like I tell my wife sometimes when she'll see our players might get beat on a play where, those other players, those wide receivers and running backs, they get paid to beat them. So sometimes you're not gonna always win your man-to-man match. I think it's just what they need to focus on is, especially in man-to-man, they make it competitive and don't make it easy for the other team. Don't make it like a video game. It's just, I'm gonna run up this play on you because it's always gonna work. And putting P.J. Williams at safety, that was the best thing. That revitalized his name in New Orleans sports talk all around this city, because nobody want to see him trying to cover somebody one-on-one. Don't nobody want to see that ever. He better off helping out or making some hits, or if it's like, a third and real long, and they playing that keep the ball in front of them kind of ball, he could come up and make the tackle. I got confidence in him. He can come up and make the tackle. He's not good at just on an island covering your one or two best receivers, sometimes your three receivers. At the end of the day, that game one against the Texans, Kenny still scored on him to put them up right quick, while the Saints had to come down and get that field goal at the last second or whatever. Somebody left him out there on an island. And as, Dennis Allen, he a good coach. He draws some good schemes, but Patrick Robinson, I feel like we benefiting off of him being like how Drew Brees had that injury and he's fresh now. I feel like we benefiting off and he got fresh legs coming into these playoffs. And you need that chasing these speedy wide receivers around.
True, bro. True, Miguel. You're hitting on all the points, man. All the family members are agreeing with what you're saying, man. I mean, you definitely hitting on the points. The Saints is this is a game, man. And remember, this is first of three to get there. It's 4 of them now. It's a long way. We didn't get that bye, so we get that extra tough game. And we mentioned all of that other stuff, but also we have to come out of this game healthy as well. Moving forward, we got to come out healthy because we gonna dispatch the Vikings, and then you have a stiffer 4 in Green Bay, then ultimately whoever is on the other side. And I'm anticipating it'll be the 49ers sitting at the NFC Championship round. So, and then, of course, the Super Bowl, what could be the ultimate matchup. And I'm looking at probably Lamar Jackson in Baltimore if they don't have a tremendous collapse, or perhaps the Chiefs with Mahomes. So we're looking at this is the start of the road right here. This is the start of the playoff roll against the Vikings. We have 4, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 difficult matchups in a row. This is the long way to get there, man, through the wild card, a very long road. So we just have to be smart about it, and I think we will.
Yeah, I think we will. I think they're gonna be smart about it. And like I heard Sean Payton always say, not even just this season, but he always divide his season into 4 game increments. Mm-hmm. You know, some of those 4-game stretches you might go 3-1, some of them you might go 2-2, some of them you might go 4-0. And to him, his teams has got to go 4-0 from here on out, and he gonna coach them that way. And like it's like a level up video game. We got the Vikings, and then each step is gonna get harder because I think the biggest problem with Green Bay is playing in Green Bay. But I think they're a beatable team. They like to run the ball. Now they say they got a defense now, but like I'm like you, who have they played? When they did play the San Francisco 49ers, they got beat like 30-something to 6. I mean 8 or 40-something to 8 or something like that. So Aaron Rodgers and the new head coach, a lot of their stuff is smoke and mirrors. They winning ugly games, and I don't think that, just like how we was on the Saints before this last month when Drew Brees started to peak. You know, it was like how we was like, you know, they can't do this. Like when they started off dropping passes in Atlanta, and we should have beat them by more than what we beat them by. And certain teams, I feel like the games they played against, like Chicago and Detroit and even Minnesota, you know, the way they play, they can't play like that when they play us if they expect to win. I don't care if they're at home. I don't care if they're in a neutral battle zone. I don't care if they're in New Orleans. They can't play like that because we're a top tier team, and we're a top tier team that's pissed off because we felt like we deserved these shots for the last 2 or 3 years. And I just don't think that Matt LaFleur, I don't think that he's, I ain't gonna say ready because he run 13 games. You don't just get there like that, but you got some decent players on this team, but I don't think that in them situations, these big game situations that's about to come upon him, especially with New Orleans coming to town, I'm not gonna look past Minnesota, but I feel like we really should dismantle Minnesota, honestly, because Kirk Cousins, yeah, he could get hot, but it's all predicated off of their run, and we are great running defense. We don't allow your running backs just to tee off on us. We did a little bit in Tennessee and with the 49ers. Tennessee was kind of employing some of the same stuff that the 49ers was doing with little sneak trick gimmick plays and stuff like that. And they've been playing with a new confidence with a new quarterback and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not that easy to put them teams away, but we still beat them by double-digit points. So I kind of don't think that just dropping back passing, I don't think Kirk Cousins that guy. I don't think that I think he the weakest link on the offense, because I think if it comes down to him, I get it. All of them Monday night football games he lost, he was with a bad team for most of them with the Redskins. Mm-hmm. But I just don't. He's no Drew Brees. He's no Russell Wilson. He's not even no Aaron Rodgers. Heck, he's not even a Jimmy Garoppolo, if you ask me, because at least Jimmy Garoppolo, he don't fold under pressure. And I think that Kirk Cousins kind of think that he gonna hit that turf a little bit, and I think he gonna give us 1 or 2 interceptions, honestly, or a sack fumble or something like that, just because it's gonna be coming so quick to him, and then he's gonna be fighting that pressure of trying to keep up with us in this game. Yeah, and I don't think he can do it.
It's gonna be interesting.
I know he can.
It's gonna be interesting because they had Packers. That's a whole nother challenge for the Saints, and they've improved during the year, but they've benefited from a soft schedule. But that's what it's about, man. Getting in the playoffs, and we're gonna line our team up against your team. And I think the Saints, man, they retained a lot of that the defense to stop the run, and they have excellent little running back up there who help create the balance. Remember, Green Bay lacked for the last couple of years. They didn't have a really good running back that kind of balanced the passing attack. This year, this little rookie that they have up there has been doing a pretty good job. He had almost 1,000 yards rushing this year for him, and he is a competent back out the backfield in terms of catching the ball. And he's a good compliment for Aaron Rodgers. And then, of course, Devontae Adams is doing his thing. They have a decent wide receiver called Jimmy Graham floating around. Offensive line is pretty decent. And, of course, the defense has pass rushers that can get to you, but soft up the middle. They were dealing with injuries as well. So they are also – I've had an opportunity to scout both these teams, Minnesota and Green Bay. Moving ahead, looking at, we've played Seattle and San Fran. We already know what time that is, but – we're going to handle one game at a time. But like I said, this is the first of 4. And it will not – and then the fourth one probably will be the hardest of all games because you're looking at a matchup. If not, Tom Brady has a tough – I mean, this year it could be Tom Brady's sayonara affair. Going against teams like the Chiefs and the Ravens on that side, I don't know how you beat that. Last year they was cheated. The Chiefs were cheated out of that opportunity. This year, do they happen? They happen this year? I don't think so. So the Chiefs and Ravens are two difficult clubs that you. So this is the first of 4. Let's take care of business with Minnesota. Then we'll march on to Green Bay. We know we're gonna see Green Bay in the second round, so it's not a guessing game. We know we gotta take care of business against them, and then put our cold stuff on. And we just gotta get cold for a week. Then we'll be either on the West, depending on who wins. I'm pulling for Seattle to get the win, because if we can get Seattle or perhaps Philly to win their games, then we could have an NFC championship game back in the Big Easy, back in the Superdome. So that's another thing that I was thinking about as well. That let's pull for one of the lower seed teams to win, perhaps a Seattle or Philly, to get there against the 49ers and beat them. Therefore, you would get an NFC championship game in the Dome. So that would be a nice gift to the black and gold family members before we take off to Miami to take on probably the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Patriots. So it's going to be interesting. But thank you for your call, Miguel, man. You had some really great points, man. Feel free to call more often, family. We love you. We love them points, man. And the family and the Great Saints think tank chiming in too, man. They really loving your points too, bro. Very valid commentary, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Q. Appreciate it, man.
Who that, bro?
Shout out to all the family members. Who that to all y'all. We gonna take this thing home this year.
Thank you, Miguel. Who that to you, my man. Appreciate you for calling, brother. And we'll talk to you later. Peace.
All right.
That's Miguel, man. Terrific call, man. Dropped a lot of knowledge on the family, man. Love that, man. But the brother saying, man, we're gonna take care of business in them, and he looking at Green Bay. He knows exactly Green Bay, what we dealing with. But the mindset of the team is one thing at a time. Of course, Minnesota's first up the bat. 4 tough playoff games. Start with Minnesota, Green Bay. Hopefully the Seattle or Philly knocks off the 49ers. We get a game in the NFC Championship in the Dome, perhaps. That'll be a good gift. And then whoever we play in the Super Bowl. Very tough matchups. The first of 4, we doing it the hard way. But you know what? We don't have to wait a week to get football. We got valid football coming at us. We got the Saints in the playoffs. We got the Tigers for the national championship against Clemson. Man, it's great stuff going on. The Pelicans have won 4 in a row, beating the Houston Rockets the other day. So we doing it good, man. Even Tulane doing something, man. They got a bowl game. How about that? What up, fam? Thank you for calling the Sports Call. Who am I speaking with? Can you hear me, family?
Hello?
Yeah, you on
Hey,
there.
how you doing, Q? This is Ernest call from Orlando. How you doing?
Hey, Ernest, how you doing, my man? How you doing, brother? How you feel? Last time, been a while since I talked to you, fam.
It has. The reason I didn't call is because the great think tank, they every time I want to call, they say something that I'm thinking anyway. So no need for me to call.
That's all right.
So props to the family.
Props to you too, Ernest. What's on your mind, my
Yeah.
friend?
Well, what I want to say is everybody's concerned about the Packers and going up and playing in the cold, but please remember that a lot of the Saints players either grew up in the cold or they played college in the cold.
There you go.
So you got examples like Drew Brees played at Purdue. Latavius and Teddy Bridgewater played in Minnesota.
Correct.
Marshall Lattimore from Ohio State. I mean, so it's not like they haven't been there. And the people that Sean Payton's picked up, like Jenkins, he played in New York. Eli Apple played in New York. So, I mean, it's not like they don't understand. Ramczyk has played in Wisconsin. So it's not like they were born in the South and they going up in the cold temperatures. They already know what's going on.
Right. That's a great point.
Yeah. So I think other than some of the people who were born and raised in the South, but you have a great number of the players played in cold weather. So I think they're going to be used to it. My concern is Minnesota because they are loaded, Fred. I mean, they got a great offense, and the Saints they got to bring their A game. Period. If they come out there like they're gonna win the game, they're gonna get beat.
Ernest, you make a great point, man. I just rattled off a bunch of names from the Minnesota Vikings offense. I mean, you get Cook back, the exciting all-purpose running back that they have. He's explosive. Right. He is healthy, and they're getting him back, and he's been gone for the last several weeks for them, and he's ready for the playoffs. Stephon Diggs, the deep threat, continues to astound. Of course, Adam Thielen has been kind of tealed off because of the injury. He had not been able to get him back in offense, but he's still there. Then Kyle Rudolph, top 15, top 20 tight end in the NFL. They have a decent offensive line, and they do have weapons on the offense. And, the defense is kind of struggling a bit because in the secondary, they getting Kendricks back, one of the really tough linebackers. So at the end of the day, like I said, family, this is the cream of the crop from the NFC in the playoff system. Only a handful of teams make the tournament every year, and the Minnesota Vikings won enough games and dominated enough to be able to be in the tournament. And any team in the tournament, we can't take them lightly.
Agreed. I totally agree with that. I'm like I said, between Green Bay and Minnesota, I'm concerned about Minnesota because they across the board. And you forgot about Irv Smith Jr.
That's right too. Yeah,
he's there too. Yeah, I mean, so they are loaded. So I mean, the bottom line is Saints defense got to bring their A game, especially. And I'm glad that they brought the experience into the secondary. And I agree with the other callers. That is the best I've seen the secondary play in a long time. So I'm very happy with the replacements they got.
Janoris Jenkins is, he played 100% of the snaps. I was looking at the snap count the other day, and he was 100% in there, and it's just a lot of people seeing it. It's a blessing in disguise. A lot of these guys are getting all of these heavy snaps, getting them ready for the playoffs, and we knew Janoris Jenkins sooner or later he'd be in a capacity where he'd be a starting cornerback, whether it was by force or whether it was given to him. Eli Apple got hurt with his ankle, and Janoris Jenkins just went right on in there. So, I mean, it was just to see guys like him and Swearinger who played pretty decently as well, and then the replacements for Davenport and Sheldon Rankins have been admirable. So, and the resurgence of A.J. Klein, his play has been phenomenal. Kiko Alonso came back with the same force that he had picking up the system at first. He is now dialed in, knowing what to do. Love that. I just absolutely love what the Saints defense is bringing. The special teams are stepping it up. The offense is Sean Payton's actually will pay attention to his wide receiver core, trying to get Traquan Smith involved, got him involved in the Carolina game. Maybe this is an indicator into the playoffs, knowing that, hey, we use Mike to get here. We need to get the rest of these other guys going because we know their first alternative, their first goals of Minnesota's would be to try to take Mike Thomas out of the game and key in on Alvin Kamara. The Saints have to make it extremely difficult on them to be able to key in on Mike, even though Mike mastered the art of beating the double. But, they're going to study that film from that Carolina game where Mike dropped several balls due to the fact that in my opinion, a lot of that, he had a few drops on his own, but a lot of those were the fact that he was ran into, he was pass interference. And this could be a scenario where the referees don't call those pass interference games. You got to understand how desperate the referees are. And I was watching the footage from the Seattle San Francisco game, where they were supposed to review that play and just went past even the official who was saying, "I'm surprised that they're not reviewing this play." And I had Jerome and several other Saints family members emailing, texting, saying, "Q, they cheated." I said, of course. Now you understand the great lengths and depths that the juggernaut will do to try to stop it. They believe that from a 3 position, you can't impact or affect the Super Bowl because you have to go 4 games deep. You have to go 4 as opposed to 3. Plus the home field advantage. Now they say, well, we take them out of their reigns and put them on a road. Let's see how they do based upon his record. Not the same team. We'll have to prove them wrong. But like you said, Ernest, very true. You know, we are made for the cold. We can go up there and win games. And remember, all you need to do to win in the cold is have a running game and defense. Once the Saints are able to pound the ball, run the ball, work the play action, don't turn the ball over, that gives them a good opportunity to win the game against the Green Bay Packers. But first, we got to take care of business against this very talented Minnesota offensive team.
Agreed. I mean, and like I said before, Q, Alvin Kamara is a receiver, and I can't begin to explain this. He can run the route tree. He can flat out run the route tree, and they got 2 big backs. They got Washington, and they got Murray, of course. They put them back there, and they put a fullback in front of him. Ortiz, they had him. They got the Ortiz, the fullback, put him in front and let him go. And and Kamara will take the pressure off of Mike. And Deontay Harris, they're playing him a lot more.
Right.
And I'm glad they are. So I mean, he's going to take the top off the defense. Then every now and then, again, a surprise is he actually catches the ball. And once we do that, and I mentioned Jared Cook. So I mean, if whoever Sean Payton could dial up, I call him a savant. Right. I mean, he can call plays if he just fires his ego. He's the best play caller in the league, hands down, period.
No argument from me on that, my friend. That's absolutely 100% real. I mean, that's as accurate as it gets. And, it's up to Sean to stay disciplined. Making the calls, playing, you have to. This is, you don't have that room for error in the playoffs because of the finality of the moment. You lose, you're done for a year. Season out the window. Doesn't matter how many games you won to get to that point. If you lose 13-3, don't mean nothing if you lose in a wild card. So we have to be balanced. We have to understand who we're playing, and we're gonna have to hit them where it hurts. And we have to run the ball, control the clock, and we have to get to their quarterback. Got to knock them around, and we definitely gonna need the noise of the Superdome to bring it. No doubt about it. We're gonna absolutely need the family members in the dome to be absolutely ruckus, and we know that they're going to do that because it's a playoff game. It's going to be absolutely insane in there. So, I just have a good vibration. I got good positive vibes here, and it's about all this going into this season. It's a long, grueling road this tournament's about to starting with this team, and I'm interested. It really interests me because I really want to see them get through Minnesota, get to Green Bay, and I want to see that win on the road. I want to see them handle business. And then, of course, if we get the Niners, or I prefer to get somebody else, perhaps a lower seed, so we can get an opportunity to play the NFC Championship game in a Superdome again. But if 49ers take care of business, we'll go there and get some revenge. So at the end of the day, I just think it's – I actually look. Go ahead.
I really agree with you, Q. I really do. And I'm a big fan of yours, big time. So I hope that the Saints bring their game, because every time that they favored to win, they struggle. And when everybody's saying they're gonna win by 10, they come out thinking that they already won the game instead of just going and knock people out. So I just hope that they take care of business quick, and just one of my biggest fears is Sean starts getting cute. I mean, 3rd and 1, he just needs to run the ball. He doesn't need to bring in Taysom Hill and all this other mess. Just run the ball. He's got some backs, and let them do what they need to do. But he will get cute, thinking he's smarter than everybody else.
Right.
So it's amazing when he had Teddy Bridgewater out there, he didn't even think about getting cute. He simplified the game plan. But with Drew Brees, he thinks he can get cute. And the playoffs is a wrong time to try to start doing that.
Right. Tried and true. You got to stick with what works. And I'm pretty sure that they niching down the most effective plays that worked for them all season long and kind of mixing up a few of the ones that they held back. So we should see some interesting play calling against the Minnesota Vikings. Not too much because, of course, we have a long road in the tournament. But at the end of the day, like you said, he's a savant. And sometimes we have, sometimes he does get out of hand. But I think the finality of the moment and the fact that they're going to fine-tune it, we should see a very serious Saint Club, especially how they played over the last month, including the 49er matchup in terms of how the offense performed. Defense, kind of not so. And I kind of put a portion of that on the offense because had they had controlled the clock a little bit more, the defense could have got a little bit more rest that could have translated into a few more stops. So, but still no. Drew Brees, player of the month in the month of December, was unbelievable in that month. He was exceptional. 5 touchdowns against the 49ers, actually 6. 5 with his arm, 1 with his feet. 4 against the Colts, 3 against the Titans, 3 against the Carolina Panthers. No interceptions. A ridiculous rating, 100 and something, whatever rating it was, and of course the completion records, all the stuff that comes with it. I just think that the team is going at a level right now. This is how you play. You play before you get into the playoffs. There's no doubt about it in my mind that the Saints are playing with a high degree of confidence. They won't overlook anybody. They'll take care of business against the Minnesota Vikings in the Dome coming up on Sunday.
Well, and one last thing, Q. The one thing I noticed the last 2 years is when they get a break, a 2-week break, they come out flat. Remember last year when they played Philadelphia, they came out flat. Right. They played Atlanta, which the San Francisco game and the Rams game, I'm not as upset about as I am that Atlanta game. That Atlanta game, more than the other two, cost them where they're at right now because they came out and they thought they were going to just blow people out. Mm-hmm. They came out flat.
Right.
Remember the 10 days that they had, that 10-day break with San Francisco, they came out flat.
True.
Even Cam Jordan said that he wished that when the bye came, he said, I wish that we could continue to keep playing because they want to roll. And so this could be a blessing that they continue to be on the roll because they come out flat for some unknown reason.
Ernest, that was great commentary, man. That was absolutely great because you're right. The bye thing could be a blessing in disguise. Of course, a lot of people want the bye because they can rest up some of the players. But like you said, this season, they haven't done well with the bye. Coming off the Atlanta, where they were smoking hot against the Arizona Cardinals. They destroyed the Cardinals. And then the bye week comes, and then they come out and they lay an egg against the Atlanta Falcons, which is the most distasteful game of the entire season, in my opinion. And then, of course, the break against the extra time after the Thanksgiving matchup against the Falcons the second time around, you have all that extra time to prepare for the 49ers, and you lose. It was an exciting game. You lost by 2, but it's still a loss. And you're absolutely right. Those are great case scenarios to explain why the bye for the Saints this season hasn't been a beneficial thing. And, of course, the Cam Jordan interjection it sealed the deal. That's absolute case. So you're right. To keep playing and keep doing what they're doing, I mean, man, that's great. That's great commentary there.
Well, I appreciate you. I'm going to get off the phone so you can talk to some other callers. And I really appreciate what you have brought to our fans. I really do. And one of my favorite ones is when you sound the alarm. I started cracking up when you sound the alarm and then tell them to wake up. when you started playing that, I'm sitting there cracking up. You start pointing, and it's amazing. The team must be listening because all of a sudden that person that you talking about, they need to wake up. All of a sudden they start playing well. I'm like, okay, this is not by accident. This is not by accident. So keep calling them because it's amazing how they start playing well.
Yeah, you know, Ernest, I sure will, my friend. I'm gonna sound the alarm. I'm gonna keep sounding the alarm, man, and we need to keep because it's more. It's you can't find a more important time to not to be sounding the alarm right now than to be sounding it right now as we get ready to take care of business, man, in the playoffs, man. So I definitely will do that, my friend. Thank you.
Well, you take care of yourself, Q.
Thank you, Ernest. You too, my friend. Who that to you, my man?
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's Ernest, man. That's the professor, man. The professor on the line. We got Paul, the historian. We got the professor. That's Ernest, the resident professor right there. And you heard him. You can see why Ernest is the resident professor, man. You know, he brings real great analysis to the Great Saints think tank, man. And I just absolutely, like I constantly say, family, and y'all all know that I always thank y'all, man. I always thank y'all over and over again, man, because I really mean it, man. I mean it, man. Y'all guys are the absolute best, man. And the family saying, sound the alarm, sound the alarm. We're going to sound the alarm, fam. Let's sound the alarm. Let's get it going. There we go. That's for Ernest. Ernest says, sound the alarm. We're going to sound the alarm for this. Wake y'all ass up. Ted Ginn. Wake your ass up, Ted Ginn. Wake your ass up, Ted Ginn. I don't know who else I can talk to. Sean Payton, wake your ass up. Don't you dare get too pass happy in this game. Wake your ass up, Sean Payton. That's funny. We told Coach Payton half an offensive alert. Now he tried to force feed Traquan in the last game. 17 carries for Latavius Murray. Sound that goddamn alarm for them and tell them wake them up. We got a playoff game coming on Sunday. They got to wake up. Defense got to wake up. Special teams. Let's get it going, fam. Sound the alarm for everybody. Wake their asses up. Ted again, wake your ass up. Tyra says she just ran out the bathroom. I'm still tripping off the fact Demi told me she had the show on and the alarm woke her mom up. Oh my goodness, man, y'all too much. That's the alarm, man. Family sound alarm, wake their asses up. Every time we sound that alarm, something good happened. I'm gonna sound that alarm this entire weekend. I'm gonna sound it periodically on the Saturday show at noon Central Time, and definitely, family, if you didn't know, a lot of family members came on late, but we had the discussion before the Great Saints think tank, and everybody said, Q, we want you. I had the idea, and not the family here. I want to know if the family with the family think about the idea. A lot of the family members chose to throw in their opinions as well. And, you know, I always value y'all guys' opinion. But the reality I want to know is we're going to be beta testing it for the game. We're going to have an actual during the game stream. So if you guys like that during the game stream, that is something that we could do as well. So you let me know. Damaris, I see you in there, Damaris. I was speaking and going over some of the chat. But yeah, I tell you what, Damaris, you're going to probably ain't going to show you a link. But if you got a Saints song, hold on here. Let me get somebody to kind of put it in the chat. You know, for the family members to know. That's the email, Damaris, because it might not let you put your song in the chat. Email me your song, the information on your song, and we'll post it on our community section. And that goes to the rest of our great Saints Think Tank members who got, I know T Dirty got a song, man. T Dirty, send me the link to your song, bro. And I'm going to put it on the community section of the page. Send me some cover art, too, if you got cover art or something. Send me a link, fam. And this to everybody, man. Tell all the family members in the building. I know if you got something that you want the brother to put up, and this is what I do for the family members. Feel free to shoot if you got a song. We got a lot of talented people here. We got Throat Cutter, he a good one, 985J. A lot of talented musician people, and we just talented, man. So we got a few people who have a song, or like Damaris is saying, he has a Saints Black and Gold song. Email it to the promedianetwork@gmail.com. I have somebody to put it in our community section. send some cover artwork as well. Since if you got artwork that you want to put with it, that looks good too, and we'll put a link to it so we can send it right to your Facebook, or if you got a YouTube or whatever, send it to the PRO Media Network at gmail.com, and I have somebody to put it up. They might put it up. It'll probably be up tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, depending on what time they put it up. But just put it up, and the family members, and that's for everybody. Damaris is opening the door, so if you got music or a song that a Saints song that you want the family members to hear, if you got a Saints type of song that'll help the family members get bucking and get more into their Saint mood, feel free to send it to the PRO Media Network at Gmail. Attach the link, put your cover art with it, and we'll see what we can do and put it on the community section of the page. That's how we show love here at the Sports Coma, the Great Saints Think Tank, man. We've been blessed, man. We've been blessed, and that's a blessing, man. We got great people. That's patrons that give their hard-earned money to the platform because they believe in it. And people that come to the live stream. Family, we 2 hours and 30 minutes into the live stream on a Thursday afternoon. It's 10:30 at night. I know people got work to do, but they're listening to the show. Or they working, listening to the show. So like I said, family, I love y'all. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. I always tell y'all that, man. And people that usually come here, they listen to the podcast. They don't understand how close the family is, man, how we talk and communicate with each other, how we go over our stuff. And that's why I'm so proud of the platform, man. It continues to grow by leaps and bounds, and it's because of you. Not because of me, it's because of you, because of what you do. You, like Miss Sexy Blacksmith, big ups to the sister. She shares the show links in 20 different Saints Facebook pages, Facebook fan groups. There are hundreds of those there. And she takes her time to go through 20 or more different Facebook groups, Saints groups, and post the link to the show. That is a very special night. Big ups to her and several other members that are doing that. And then we have members that donate money. We got members that go to the Pro Shop, which is the platform's shop, and buy gear to help the platform. All the great people: Kyle Davis, Scoob, Derek, Dada, all the tremendous school, so many people, Demi, all of them, great, Tyra, all these people are terrific people. We appreciate the hell out of y'all, man. And like my dog 985J, another good dude, he won one of the PS4 giveaways, the first one we did. The man won him a PS4, man, from the Pro Media Network. And then our fantasy leaguers, big ups to our fantasy leaguers, won their money too. Slinging Bubbles, who finished second. Sheldon, he won his $50, and then $150 to the winner, which was Anthony. Eyes wide closed. He was perfect, 16-0 on the season in the Sports Coma Fantasy League. The man won him $150 from the PRO Media Network. That's how we do, fam. We being blessed, and we blessing the family members, man. We do stuff, the Fantasy League. We did the PS4 giveaways. We did all that, man, and we just continue to give back because people blessing us, we bless them. That's how it go, man. That's how you stay blessed, and that's why we continue to get more and more, and our family growing more and more all the time. So I like to thank all the beautiful Black and Gold family members for doing that, man. Straight up. Also, there's some more Black and Gold family members that were in the chat that I didn't get an opportunity to acknowledge. Southern Comfort, let's see, Southern Comfort, who that to your family? I see you, man. Red Cross 504, I see you, fam. He says, imagine winning in the freezing cold against Green Bay and then flying straight into some beautiful West Coast weather to prepare for Seattle or Niners, or flying back from the freezing cold to the New Orleans Superdome to play the winner of the either the Eagles or the Seahawks, because either one of those teams were able to beat the 49ers. That is, and then going from there 2 weeks later to Miami. I actually like that route a little bit better, if you know what I mean, family. Thank you for that. Dr. Fell, who that to you? T Dirty, my dog, T Dirty. I see you in the building. Lance Kelly as well. Good to see your family. And Edward Labarski, he says everybody forgets Marcus Williams is a finesse safety. LOL. I know, family. Big ups to you, Edward. Who that to you? Thank you for joining us. Who else we got? I know we got a few more other members that I wanted to make mention of, man, that were in the chat as well, man, that I seen chime in. Hold on here, family. Give me a second. Let me acknowledge the family members chiming in here, because I missed a few. Let's see here. No Saint. I see you, No Saint. He said, is he going to go down the roster. That'll be for, remember, this is not the preview show for the Vikings. We're merely just touching on a few topics. The preview, the actual breakdown, which I'm going to put the depth charts up on the screen. I'm going to put our depth charts, their depth charts on them, go over the injury reports. We're going to do the statistical breakdown. We're going to have a ball on Saturday. Our noon show is Saturday at 12 o'clock Central Time. We go 3 hours deep in that thing. And, of course, the family members like the idea to have during it, and we're going to do it for the playoffs. The Minnesota game will have a game of a live stream during the game. And I think that'll be something pretty good to do as well. A lot of family members like that idea. So thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate you, Sarah Walker. Appreciate your donation, family. Thank you, baby. Appreciate that. We love you, and thank you for that great donation, Cheryl. Appreciate you for donating that. Earl McMurray, who that to your family? I see you in the chat. Natural Chrissy, good to see you, Natural Chrissy. Who that to your family? I see you there. Nunaya, is that correct? Nunaya. Okay, that's a very unique name. Nunaya. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, family. Who that to you as well? I try my best. Let's see. Who else we got here to shout out? I know I'm missing a few people here. I know I've seen somebody's name up there that I might miss, but let's see. I know I said what's happening with Troy Thompson. Okay, Ball Fade Original. Good to see you, family. I see you there. And of course, I made mention to my dog T Dirty already. Big ups to the family members. Let's see. But yes, family, I appreciate y'all, man, for chiming in the sports coma tonight, man. Thank y'all for chiming in. Of course, usually I would like to go a little longer on the Wednesday shows, but I know it's kind of a late Thursday. We hit you with this 10:35 already, and I know a lot of the family members probably have to go to work, but I'll tell you what, family, we'll do this again Saturday, 12 o'clock Central Time, like we usually do. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for joining in the show. As always, please feel free to hit the like button. We got 74 likes, over 80 something people in the chats. I thank y'all for that. That's a good amount of likes as well. And our show's getting a lot of likes and a lot of thumbs up, no thumbs down. So that's really special too, man. That means people really enjoying what you're doing and how you're doing it, man. And man, I tell you what, family, it's crazy because you look at CBS and NBC and all these little shows, these people, they can't, we sit here and we talk, family, for 3 to 4 hours at a time. Remember we did the show. What show was it, family? We did a 5-hour show. We took 20 callers. Remember that show? I forgot which one it was. It was the longest Sports Coma show in the history of the Sports Coma lives. We did a 5.5-hour show. We took 20 something calls. It was awesome, man. I love that, man. The people really was getting involved, and you know how I feel. We have some great callers tonight, man. I appreciate the professor. Ernest calling from Florida. The professor got on the line today. Miguel, professor always have great valid points. Appreciate you, Professor. Ernest, appreciate you. Miguel, man. Miguel was spot on, man. Miguel's a smart dude, man. He had a lot of great points to say too, and Damaris too representing as well. So I like to thank all of our callers for chiming in tonight on the Sports Coma as well, man. And thank y'all, man. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you aren't a subscriber, subscribe now. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. If you didn't hit your bell, hit that notification bell, because you never know when your boy might come out the bushes and then hit you with a live stream. You never know with me. I tell you what, man. You never know with me. So I'm going to check out now, family, but I'd like to thank all you guys for chiming in tonight. 2 hours and 30 minutes to the Dome. Had a lot of great callers calling today. We covered a lot of great topics today on the show. Quick synopsis for the family members who didn't chime in early today, just to let the family members know, give you a quick synopsis of what we covered on the show today. Went over the Saints injury report. Eli Apple, Zach Lyon did not practice. Von Bell, Marcus Williams, Michael Thomas, and Dwayne Washington all fully practiced. People like, well, what Mike Thomas doing on that? He had a hand issue. He was limited. He fully practiced for Thursday, so he's fine. Dwayne Washington, the third string running back, had a knee issue. He's fine. Von Bell and Marcus Williams fully practiced for Thursday, so it's a good indication they might be starting in against the Minnesota Vikings, to the chagrin of a lot of Saints people. We played several interviews. Coach Payton, Drew Brees, chimed in. Laddie Daddy, who was Marcus Lattimore, and Cam Jordan chimed in on. They had great interviews, by the way, great energy. Also, we covered the fact that Saints legend Sam Mills, the field mouse, as they used to call him, the leader of the vaunted Hall of Fame Dome Patrol unit, he is up. Sam Mills is one of 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2020. We'll know by January. Well, that was announced today. We'll know by February whether or not he'll be amongst the class, February the 1st to be exact. Of course, he was already inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame in '98 and the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame back in 2001. Of course, Sam Mills passed away in 2005 from cancer, from intestinal cancer. So Sam Mills, man, a great man. Of course, we just lost Vaughn Johnson quite recently. So both of our inside linebackers for the Hall of Fame Dome Patrol members have transitioned. But this is really good to get the field mouse Sam Mills in the Hall of Fame along with Ricky Jackson, who is there as well. Also, we covered the fact that Drew Brees won the NFC's Offensive Player of the Month for the month of December with numbers like this: 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in 4 games. The team went 3-1. Drew was fantastic. He also went for 29 of 30 for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns, setting the NFL record for completions in the month of December, which was 96.7. He also became the NFL's leader in touchdown passes in that game, breaking the mark held by Peyton Manning. And it was just a fantastic month. But records aside, 15 touchdowns and no interceptions in the month of December, hurtling into the playoffs is an epic moves by Drew Brees. And then, of course, we covered articles by the newspaper, the Saints Wire, that had 6 players who need to step up against the Vikings. They listed Janoris Jenkins, Traquan Smith, Elvin Kamara, AJ Klein, Trey Hendrickson, and Michael Thomas. We covered that as well. And we talked about a little stuff about Antonio Brown. If you want to hear that, you can feel free to hear it on the rerun when it goes final. But thank all the beautiful Black and Gold family members for signing in. Remember, next show will be Saturday, a couple days away, at 12 o'clock Central Times on our YouTube channel. And, of course, we'll talk more about the in-game broadcast that we'll do for the Minnesota game. We'll talk about that more. So thank all y'all guys for chiming in for the Sports Coma tonight. I love y'all. Check out the Pro Shop. Donate. Become a Patreon. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Thank you. Love you. Who dat?
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the Sports Coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black, ain't a mirror